Welcome back, friends, to another episode of the Zephcast, the show where we get to know your favorite content creators, streamers, and podcasters alike. I am your host, Zephyrs XP, and with me today, we got feline VTuber extraordinaire and my awesome friend Z Otta in the house. Thank you so much for being here today, Z. How you doing?
Happy to do it, man. I'm doing quite well. It's been a good Monday. Work was quiet. Had a good stream. So, how about you?
I'm doing pretty solid today. What were you streaming? What were you streaming today? The thought, right? Because we play so many games. It's like,
Mass Effect. Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Yeah. No, sorry. I've got like 5 different games that I'm going through right now, so I have to think about it occasionally. What did I stream today? Yeah. No, I was doing first Mass Effect on Legendary Edition.
Nice. How are you liking the new? Is it a remake or a remaster of it?
It's a little bit of both. It's mostly just a remaster. They did alter some of the gun handling mechanics. So, like in the original, if you were using a gun that your class that you started as could not use, like you couldn't hit outside of a barn. You can actually hit things now. You just don't get any better with them. So it made the guns a lot more useful overall.
I actually remember I bought the trilogy for Mass Effect years ago. I think on the Xbox 360, I want to say. And I played like 5 hours of the first one, and just something, I don't know, it couldn't click with me. Something about it I wasn't like super into, but like I've been watching a couple people have been streaming it the past few days. It looks really cool, honestly.
It's a good game. Back in the day, it was a little bit weird, like because they tried to blend the RPG stuff that BioWare had always done with third-person shooter mechanics. To a limited degree of success, let's put it that way. So it was kind of difficult to jump into that, especially if you were more familiar with BioWare's older RPGs, KOTOR, Jade Empires, that kind of stuff. It's always had a good story, but the mechanics kind of let down. The remaster, did actually fix quite a bit of that. So
Jade Empire, I do remember. I never played that one, but I remember like looking at it in the game store and like Blockbuster years ago. That was one I always wanted to try.
Yeah, Jade Empire was one of BioWare's titles that not a whole lot of people played because it didn't have any existing IP behind it. And it didn't get the mass marketing push that Mass Effect did. Like Mass Effect was hugely advertised when it came out, and it had a ridiculous name, so that helped. But yeah, like Jade Empire, a lot of people never played. It was a good game. I enjoyed it. Honestly, I really can't think of a bad title that BioWare has put out.
I know, like once they have that marketing budget behind them, that just, if they got money behind it, they can make any game just like soar up the charts, right?
Pretty much. As
we saw with Cyberpunk, for better or for worse.
Yeah, Cyberpunk had the marketing budget, but yeah, I don't like to talk crap about games, but it was real bad. You know, it kind of let me down too, because like I played. That's the worst part, man. Like, because I played tabletop Cyberpunk back in the day, and like I was really looking forward to this game coming out because like I was expecting for there to be, you know, all the hacking and all the awesome stuff, and instead it was like Grand Theft Auto with androids. So like I wasn't quite sure what to do with that.
Did you feel? Because I haven't played like any of their older games. I haven't played The Witcher 3 or anything, and I know The Witcher 3 is like, you know, the Mount Olympus of like video games for some people. Did you feel a lot of Witcher 3 in Cyberpunk, or did it just kind of feel like Grand Theft Auto? Because it looks really much like Grand Theft Auto 5 in some ways.
Witcher is kind of its own thing, right? Because like it had a whole series of books behind it and everything else before it even came out. So Witcher was a series that either you'd read the books and made a whole lot of sense, or you were just playing this dude who kind of might be a vampire, maybe, we don't really know, and then you hit monsters in the face. Like, I didn't really feel a whole lot of The Witcher in Cyberpunk. It felt like a game, honestly, from a very different development studio. I don't actually think Cyberpunk was a bad game. I think it was a game that was very ambitious and probably bit off more than they could chew.
Do you think it needed more time in the oven, so to say, like another 2 years or something?
I think it needed someone on staff who really understood the IP they were trying to tackle. Because, like I said, not a whole lot of the cyberpunk setting really came through to me in it. It felt very much like Grand Theft Auto, except in the future. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that was cool, but I played that with Saints Row, so like, wasn't really down to do that again.
It's kind of like when you play. Yeah, I always feel that like when I'm playing like multiple games at once. You know, it's not fair, but like it just kind of happens where I'm playing one game and then I go to another one and I'm like, wow, I'm noticing things I don't like about this game just because I'm also playing or just came off of playing another game. I'm noticing that a lot right now with Dark Souls games, and then playing any other game that's not Dark Souls. I'm like, this is so hand holding, it's driving me crazy, kind of.
Well, I mean, to be fair, everything is hand-holding compared to Dark Souls. Dark Souls doesn't really throw you to the deep end so much as it ties the bricks to your feet before it like tries to deliberately drown you.
So true.
But no, I get you. Like I do the same thing though. I try to avoid, like, especially because I do tend to run different games at the same time. I try to avoid crossing multiple games within the same genre, because otherwise I'll invariably get into the comparison game, and I try to enjoy games for what they are rather than for what they're not, if that makes sense.
100%, because it's like not fair for the developers and everyone who worked on the game to kind of be judging it to this other game that they had no comparison in mind for. But like, I guess just we as humans naturally compare things to other things that we like. So the downfalls of being a human sometimes. So
this is why I choose not to be.
There you go. Actually, I do kind of want to talk a little bit about VTubing and everything here in a second. But first, we kind of sidestepped a little bit on the icebreaker question, but I think it'd still be fun to kind of talk about. So just icebreaker question 10 minutes later. So the icebreaker question that random rolled out today was, who is your favorite Disney hero or heroine and why?
Belle.
Who?
Belle, hands down, no question.
Belle? Oh,
Belle.
like from
Belle,
Beauty and the Beast? I was gonna say two villains, like if you wanted to throw out a villain as well.
Yzma.
Ooh.
From Emperor's New Groove.
Emperor's New Groove. Why Belle, out of curiosity?
Because Belle was the first Disney princess that was not helpless or an idiot or both. I don't dislike any of the Disney princesses, but Belle was the first one who was educated, actively educated, mind you. Definitely did not need a man to save her. In fact, very much the opposite. She ended up saving the beast. Like, she was an excellent character. She wasn't stuck up. She wasn't clueless. She wasn't helpless. She didn't really have her head in the clouds. She was an excellent character, start to finish. And she, to me, was the first princess really in Disney that didn't embody the damsel in distress.
You know, I don't know if I ever maybe subconsciously realized that. Like, those are some really, really good points. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, what other, I haven't seen a lot of the newer modern Disney movies, but like, what other Disney princesses kind of compare in that regard that you can think of?
Moana, even though she's although Maui would argue with me, technically not a princess. Rapunzel, actually, she wasn't really a damsel in distress. She was just a damsel who had been isolated forever. Mulan, obviously, although not a princess. Raya, if you've seen Raya, which if you haven't, you need to go watch Raya. Raya's awesome.
I don't know if I have seen. There's been a lot of movies I've missed in the past like decade. I haven't watched too many movies. Which one is Raya from?
Raya and the Last Dragon is the one that just recently came out. It released online only. It's the one that's dealing with Southeast Asia. It is a fantastic Disney movie. Like a lot of the more modern Disney princesses really didn't do the damsel in distress thing, or if they did, they only did it to a limited degree. And I think that's part of Disney attempting to evolve with the times and do more representation and stop making women either a prize or something that has to be rescued. So, and props to them for that. There's lots of other things I'll crap on Disney for, but props to them for that.
What do you think about them kind of live action remaking a lot of their old classic movies? Are you a fan of that at all?
I think that's a symptom of the entire industry, not just Disney. I'm not a huge fan of it in general. I would prefer for people to tell new stories rather than retell old ones. But so far, the ones they've done have been pretty good. the Beauty and the Beast one, once Emma Watson figured out how to act with someone who wasn't physically present, because like the first half of the movie is real rough, was pretty good. Lion King was okay. I mean, it was the Lion King. Like, you can't not like the Lion King, but they tried to make the animal faces a little too human, which was kind of weird. As far as the others, was Jungle Book Disney? I can't remember.
I think Jungle Book was Disney. Yeah. I think so.
So I watched both of the remakes of that, and they were interesting. I liked the changes they made to the story. I think the live action carried through well, for what it's worth. Really, though, I'd like them to just make new stuff.
There was 2 Jungle Books, right? There was like the new Disney one, and then there was a not Disney one, right?
Yeah, there was a not Disney one that actually changed the story significantly, and in my opinion, for the better. But yeah, that one's gotten a lot of attention over the years.
I have seen the non-Disney one, and I do remember I really liked it a couple years back. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're solid. And then you asked about villains, and I did bring up Yzma, and Yzma is hands down my favorite villain, because she's absolutely ridiculous. She's not, well, no, she's evil, but more importantly, she has Kronk, and that the man who does the voice acting for him, I think so John Benjamin is his name. He is an absolute treasure, and he pulls that character off so well. But I love Yzma just because she's ridiculous. She's one of the least actually threatening villains in the entirety of Disney history, and I love her for that.
You know what I just kind of realized thinking about that? Yzma and Kronk kind of like perfectly complement each other, because Yzma is very, I don't know if weak is the word, but just she like looks frail, but she is very smart and witty, versus Kronk, who is maybe not exactly the smartest human being on the planet, but very physically capable and very strong. And they kind of like perfectly complement each other. I never really realized that.
Kronk is an entire cutlery drawer short. He's fantastic. I love him.
There's a ride at California Adventures in Disneyland that I think it's called Soarin' Over California, but you kind of like sit down and watch this like big show of like kind of drone shots essentially of flying over California, and he does the voiceover for it, and it's just you cannot unhear Kronk from it. It's so good.
Is it like the Soarin' ride at Epcot?
Yes, exact same one, except all of the scenes are pretty much like California. So
it's awesome.
That's one of my favorite rides. You know, as a kid I used to hate that ride because like it's not fast or anything, but you know, going back as an adult and kind of, I feel like those slower rides you kind of take for granted a little bit more. You know, you kind of enjoy, and I don't know, the scents they pull, like you'd be flying over like the orange fields and like the smells and stuff, you just get this like orange smell. It's pretty great.
Hey, I'll readily admit, man, I'm 40 years old. I'm a big fan of the People Mover if I go to Disney.
The People Mover? Which one is that one?
It's an extremely slow-paced ride that goes through the future land section that is just up on a raised track. It's not a ride. It's basically just where old people go to relax, shade. Like I'm a huge fan of it.
Is that where you like sit down and it's kind of like 360 kind of rotates you?
No, it's just a little crappy tram car, but it's fun.
I think I know where in Tomorrowland you're talking about. I've been fortunate growing up. I grew up in southern Utah, so Disneyland was like a 6-hour or so drive away, and so anytime we'd have like a 4-day weekend from school or work or anything, we would definitely go to Disney a lot. And so we had year-round passes, and yeah, I just kind of, you know, as I get older, kind of think back on those. You know, at the time you just, we're going to Disney for the 10th time, it's nothing special, whatever. But like, you kind of feel that as you get older, you just kind of look back on memories and you're like, I didn't quite, you know, see it for what it was then, but just as you get older, you kind of start to relish the memory a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see that.
Kind of going off, totally not related to streaming, but see, that's the fun thing I love about doing podcasts though, and like talking with everybody, is I love just kind of seeing where conversations naturally take people. And even if it's not entirely streaming related, like I just love just kind of seeing where the flow of conversations kind of take everything. So I guess kind of steering it back a little bit more on the streaming side, one question I really love to ask everybody who's on the show, just to kind of hear a little bit about their backstory, is who is Ziada the streamer, and who is also the person behind the streamer?
That's a fun question for me to try to answer.
It's a deep
so
one.
Ziada the streamer, Ziada the streamer. I am. Well, you've seen One Punch Man.
I have not. I've seen it on Netflix, but I haven't like seen it.
Okay, so like you should watch One Punch Man. I'm basically Saitama. I am a streamer for fun that happened to accidentally be good at it. I don't really like, I didn't really get into this for the whole let's build a huge following and make it a career or anything else. It was a thing that I started doing mainly honestly because we wanted to stream our raids on 14 so we could see where people screwed up and go back and rewind and watch and see what went wrong. That's the whole reason I started streaming. So Ziada the streamer is my stream has grown very organically. There's not really been a plan behind it. There wasn't really a plan behind the persona. The cat avatar was literally picked because it irritated one of my friends that I wouldn't use a face cam. And I mean, I like cats and I pretty much am a cat, so that just made sense. So that's just kind of me. Like I have a relatively chill online persona. Honestly, I have a relatively chill offline persona. I just hang out and have fun. And if other people have fun too, that's great. Person behind the streamer is not that at all. I am a business analyst for a multinational by trade. I am extremely detail oriented and goal focused. I have a pretty high stress, high pressure job the vast majority of the time. It involves managing a team of 14 people who handle all of the business analytics for the commercial side of the bank. So that's what I do in my spare time, which is why my stream is not high pressure or high intensity at all.
Kind of like the opposite of what the day Ziada is.
Yeah, streaming is how I relax, honestly, more than anything. It's part of the reason why I never put any focus on the growth of my stream or monetization or any of that, because as soon as I start to bring that into it, it turns into a job. And it's like I've told Dizzy, the day that I think to myself, well, crap, I got to stream is the day I delete my Twitch channel.
That's a great way of looking at it. I think a lot of people lose that, you know, as they kind of go on through streaming, they lose that funness of it, the enjoyment of it, the artisticness, the just relaxingness of it. And some people just focus so intensely on numbers and monetization and stuff like that. So that is awesome to hear.
Well, and for some people, that's what they want to do. Like, they want this to be their full-time career, and I applaud those people. It's a hell of a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of focus, and it takes a lot of dedication. And anybody who can put that time and effort and focus in, I absolutely applaud. It's just not a thing I want to do with my free time, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%, 1,000%. You know, I think everybody has, that's the cool thing about like streaming and, you know, especially on Twitch, is you have people who want to do it just to play games with friends, other people who want to do it as like an artistic outlet, other people who do want to shoot for the highest mountain and, you know, become the next Ninja or Ludwig or something like that, and everything in between. So it's cool kind of meeting everybody from all across that spectrum, you know?
Yeah, it is. And that's one thing I do enjoy actually about the corner of Twitch we've kind of carved out. I don't just mean Fireside, I mean all the associated people that you and I and Lolly and Karen and everybody interact with. Like, we have a pretty wide net at this point of, I don't know, easily 40 or 50 streamers, and all of us kind of have very similar mindsets in terms of not turning this competitive, not turning this into, even for those of the group that are attempting to make this a career. I don't think any of our corner of Twitch have lost that mindset and started to make this be a thing that is more stress than fun.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I do love the community that we've built.
Yeah, I think once you just kind of start stressing about it, or like you're sitting in front of your computer, like stressing, sweating to hit that go live button, I think you definitely need to kind of take a step back, reevaluate, just kind of see like, why really am I doing this? Because I mean, most people start streaming for fun. I would say like high majority of people probably start streaming for fun. So if you're not having fun, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, no, I know a few people who have started streaming with the intent of this is what they're going to make their career. Most of those already had established presences outside of Twitch, though. It was expanding out from their YouTube, or in some cases their TikTok, which I didn't realize. Again, I'm old. I didn't realize TikTok was actually that big of a thing. It was just the thing that I knew replaced Vine, right? Like, so, but I do know a few who have done that and actually have still managed to keep that balance, which is cool. I know other people who have gone the opposite direction. They've come into Twitch with the intent of building a huge channel and gathering a following, and then seeing that takes a whole lot of time. Like, it's not an overnight process, and ended up getting burned out and quit. It's one of those things you have to keep perspective on it, and it is a journey. It is definitely not a click start streaming to win thing. But anyway, that answer got quite a lot afield of what I intended. I ramble if you haven't noticed.
No, that's what this is all about. I think also people on Twitch, like, if you think just clicking live, going live is going to get you like thousands of views and stuff, like, this isn't Twitch from 2012 essentially, or 2010. Like, it's so saturated at this point. I feel like a lot of people who really do grow their following, usually they stream on Twitch, and then maybe they have a YouTube channel, or they're doing stuff on TikTok, or they're growing a presence on Twitter. Like, it's extremely rare to find somebody who's just 100% on Twitch and nothing kind of else behind it to support it,
Yeah.
100%. So one kind of question kind of leading or tying directly into that, I did notice during some Ziada research before the podcast, I did notice that on Twitter that there were some Twitch streams back from even before 2012. So was that also Final Fantasy 14 all the way back then?
No, 2012 I think was when I was first experimenting with broadcasting software, period.
XSplit?
XSplit. XSplit. The good old days of XSplit's horrible interface. Those were when I was first experimenting with the concept of live streaming and broadcasting in general. And there's actually, I think, one of the oldest, because I do have a YouTube channel. I don't do much with it, but it does exist. I think one of the oldest videos I have on there, in fact, is from those experiments where I put together a silly little video of me blowing up Megaton set to 1812 Overture.
Oh, nice.
So so that's what all that's from. I've been around on Twitch a very long time. I didn't start actually streaming to any real degree until probably about 2 years ago. And that started with Final Fantasy 14 rating. And even then I didn't do anything to really push my channel until Lolly and Chief started basically encouraging me to, because they liked what they were watching. So
were they the ones kind of behind you, giving you the push, like, maybe this could be something, Z?
That and a little bit of friendly competition with another friend of mine who it's the same guy who's the reason for the cat avatar. It was one of those things of he liked to be competitive with me. So I decided I was going to start actually doing something with my channel, and you can kind of see from, I think, November of 2019 how rapidly my channel evolved in terms of the integration with other services, channel point redemptions, all the random chaos that happens on my channel, that kind of thing.
Actually, kind of going straight into that, because I did want to talk about that. Can you please explain how Dovacat, Beep Beep, Mander, all the incredible channel point rewards, where they all came from? Because no joke, Dovacat is like my favorite channel point redemption on Twitch ever. It is the best thing. If any of you listening have never seen it or watched it, you need to watch it on Ziada's channel. It's the best thing.
If you haven't seen it, it basically looks like this.
The anticipation. Oh yeah. Oh yes. You already got it lined up. It's so good.
It's gonna go all the way through. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm here for it. Yes. Give me the chorus. My night has been fulfilled.
So that along with all of the other Channel Point redemptions honestly started as technical challenges for me. I got tired of relying on Streamlabs and Nightbot and Streamlabs Chatbot and all that crap to do their jobs, because their Nightbot is pretty competent. Streamlabs services are frequently not. So it started as a technical challenge of how do I make alerts that are tied to Channel Point redemptions, right? Because I wanted to give something for a viewer to be able to interact with the channel. And I figured out ways to do it via chatbot. They were real janky. And then I stumbled on the Orin board when I was researching Stream Deck alternatives, because as much as I like Elgato, and Elgato is like iOS, it's like Apple, right? Elgato makes very polished, very user-friendly products that do a very specific thing, and that's all they do. I don't do that. If I do something, I want it to be able to be something I can screw with and tinker with. So I found the Orin board, which is what runs basically everything on my channel. It runs my alerts, it runs my Channel Point redemptions, it runs all of my bots, it runs my anti-spam bot stuff, it runs everything. So it became a technical challenge of how do I tie user-triggered Channel Point redemptions into my stream doing things, which then turned into, okay, how do I make it not suck? Because I got it to do it, right? And it did it very poorly. And that's where I started getting into video editing, which is something that I hadn't really touched previous to Twitch. And then I decided I wanted to just, if I was going to do this, it was going to be ridiculous. And that's kind of what happened. So that turned into figuring out how to do background removal, both via rotomasking and straight up green screening, along with the audio engineering and everything that came with doing the Channel Point redemptions. So that's how all that happened. Basically, it started as a really simple thing, and then I don't do anything halfway, so it turned into a nightmare.
So you did all of it, like everything. You didn't, like, everything was green screened or masked and synced up with the audio. You did everything?
As far as that, yes. Most of the video portions of my Channel Point, most of them have not been done myself. Dovacat was done myself using the little Bongo Cat generator. So I actually used that to create that whole sequence with the cats. And then I recorded myself doing the singing part with the Viking hat on, and then injected that video over top. The rest of them are things that I have reached out to the creators, contacted them, gotten their permission to use, because I don't believe in stealing from other people who've done amusing shit. So reached out, got permission, and then after that it was alteration of the video, and then usually remastering of the audio, because in most cases the audio quality is kind of crap. So it was, like I said, doing all the video editing, showing them the final product, making sure they were okay with it. Most of the time they've been highly amused. I've only once had someone tell me, no, you can't do that, which is unfortunate. But and then the other one that I didn't ask for permission on this, because I had no idea how to even go about it, was the Eat Like Snake one from the Southeast, the Asian Burger King commercial. Like, I couldn't even find the company that made that one in the first place to ask them. So
the one I love is I think the Mander one. Actually, last time, I think when I rated you last time and someone redeemed that, I legitimately pulled my phone out to use Shazam to find the name of the song for it. And it's like a hugely popular song all over TikTok. Like, TikTok people love that song.
It's everywhere on TikTok. A lady named Fluff Stuff, she actually streams on Twitch, made the original Manderville Man video. And you can find it on YouTube. So that one again, that for me, that was doing a ton of background removal work. She used this in the original video. She used this really cool gradient background, which is gradient backgrounds are the straight up devil to remove out of a video. Yeah. So that one took a whole lot of work.
All the different coloring layers.
Yeah, because I mean, it was a single color, but it went from really dark to really light. So I couldn't do simple tools. I ended up having to do, I think that one used 7 different color removers throughout the course of the video to get the colors clean. So that one took a bit of work. The worst one I've done is honestly the Crab Rave one, because the Crab Rave video by Noise Storm just has so much movement and color. But yeah, no, like I said, Fluff Stuff did the Manderville one, and I absolutely adore it. It is that one and the Pokemon dance are probably the two that get the most what the fucks from people who come into the channel.
See, but the thing with stuff like that is there will definitely be some people who see the Pokemon dance and just like, I do not know if I'm into this, but the people who love it will really freaking love it.
Yeah, like anytime I get rated by people who have not seen the channel before, most of my viewers tend to fire off a crap load of those. They've kind of made it a game to see how long they can keep from talking with them. It's interesting to see who hits follow on what meme.
Oh, do you kind of keep an eye out for that?
Actually, yes. The Manderville dance gets the most by far. Like, far and away gets the most people hitting follow. So
brilliant.
I've told Fluff thank you a couple times for that one.
Oh my god, that's what program do you use to edit them in? Do you use like Premiere Pro, After Effects?
Mm-hmm. Both Premiere Pro and After Effects. Occasionally Fireworks, depending what I'm doing, but usually Premiere Pro and After Effects.
I did a little bit of like on one of my channel, or not channel points, but like when somebody redeems like VIP, they get the VIP thing. I have like diamonds fall, and that was just a basic green screen, and even that took me, I mean, that took some time in Premiere Pro, so I can only imagine all the different things that you're doing. It must be a task, if you will.
It was at first. Some of them are still really difficult. It mostly depends on how complex is the background and how much motion is in the video. Low motion videos are easy to do regardless, because honestly, I can just set up a good rotomask and I'm done. High motion videos are harder. High motion videos with complex backgrounds, I usually end up having to go damn near frame by frame making modifications. And I think the longest one of those took me almost 4 hours real time to do the editing.
Ooh.
So I mean, they're a lot of work, but again, I've mentioned before, I know in other chats, like 2/3 of why I stream has nothing to do with streaming. It has to do with I enjoy technical challenges. So doing stuff like that is just as much fun to me as hitting the go live button and hanging out with people.
I think if people are interested, if people listening to this are interested in streaming and have never streamed before, you have to be ready for the tech problems and just, you know, internet's not working, or Twitch isn't working, or Streamlabs isn't working, or camera's not working, and everything in between. So that is something that I've definitely noticed, you know, the past year since I've started streaming, is I feel like I've become much better tech support, you know, or much better like problem solver. If something happens, okay, let's disconnect this, let's try this, okay, that's not working, we'll try something else. And it sucks, of course it sucks, tech problems suck, but it's kind of a fun puzzling challenge, if you will.
I've said for a long time, it's not a proper stream unless something breaks.
That is so true. And there's so many things too. Like, it's not even just like Twitch. There's so many components that come together, you know, especially using like face rig, the camera, the sound, the lights, the Twitch, internet. Anything that can go wrong will eventually go wrong. So keep an eye out for that, everybody. I actually just downloaded, I think yesterday or the day before, Leorin board, and I'm really interested in trying it out. I was really intrigued with wanting to do, I think Zach has something where you can like redeem a channel point and you don't have to do anything. It just automatically triggers it. I'm guessing what happens in your stream, where someone just pays for the channel point, the trigger goes off, you don't have to touch nothing. It's almost like they're controlling the stream in a way, you know?
That's how all of mine work. And if you want a hand getting any of that set up, just come up with what you want to do and I can show you how to make it work. But yeah, that's how pretty much everything on my channel works. There's very little, about the only thing that I control on my stream is scene transitions. Everything else happens automatically at this point. That was not the case when I first started this.
I heard that, I've also witnessed, but I heard you have a hot tub scene as well.
I do actually. So every now and then, I decided that I'm just gonna do a hot tub because hot tub streaming is the new Twitch meta. Although you know they finally brought the hammer down on that, right?
Yeah, they have a whole new category and everything for it.
Yep, they have a whole new category. It has like 1/10 of the viewers that the hot tub streams used to have.
Yeah, I haven't really dove in and like checked out any of it yet, but I'm guessing because it's not in just chatting, it's going to be a whole new category. Are they noticing difference in viewerships?
Oh yeah, like it's massively smaller. I mean, before, because like I said, before I started the hot tub stream thing as a joke, like I actually looked to see what the hell was going on with that. Hot tub streams were easily pulling in like 75 to 100K of the, generally 300 to 600,000 viewers in just chatting. Wow. I think it's topped out at like 30K now. Like pretty much everybody's given up on doing it because now they're stuck in their own little section and they don't get the same discoverability. That category, I believe, does not appear in recommended channels or on front page. And I think almost all of the channels in that category are demonetized in terms of advertising. Right. So like it pretty much killed any reason to be using it.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw recently that Twitch had like canceled Amaranth's advertising revenue and everything. They could still get like subs, right? Subs and bits and stuff and donations. It's just advertising is cut off.
Yeah, it kills your advertising revenue when they do that because like they didn't ban her or anything. And I see your puppy back there.
Oh, Ellie. Yeah, she's my podcast pup. She loves to hang out with me during all this. Hi, Ellie.
She's a sweetie. Your dogs are a testament to the awesomeness that is Goldie's. I'm just gonna say.
Oh my goodness, they're amazing friends to have. Like I could not at this point in life, I couldn't imagine not having fur friends of some kind to just come home and I've had a terrible day, cuddle all over me. They're amazing for that.
Definitely, I hear that, man.
What do you think about the whole hot tub meta? Like I know that's not any of the questions I had on here, but it is a really kind of fun conversation to just kind of bring out in people.
So there's two ways of looking at it, right? I personally don't give a crap what people do on Twitch. As far as I'm concerned, Twitch should be an 18 plus platform, not a 13 plus platform in the first place. There's way too much adult content, even in the streams not marked 18 plus.
Totally agree.
That being said, I don't actually care what people do on Twitch. I would personally be totally fine if Twitch made a straight up 18 plus section that actually allowed nudity and pornography, as long as they marked it as such and didn't market it to people who weren't interested in seeing it. And I'm not suggesting they do this. I'm just saying I don't care. Right? If I don't want to see it, I'm not going to go there. The problem that I had with hot tub streaming really was nothing to do with the content. I don't care about that. What people want to do with their own bodies on camera is their own choice. The problem I had with it is that it was not content. It was essentially softcore pornography acting as a gateway to an OnlyFans or Patreon site, because virtually every hot tub streamer in their socials link that they didn't put on Twitch, they had a text link, so they weren't violating TOS, was advertising OnlyFans or Patreon. Again, I don't care what people do. What I cared about was that they were doing that in a way that took discoverability away from people who were actually running content-based just chat streams. That's why I had a problem with it. I think the hot tub category honestly is a perfect solution, because what they're doing, yes, it does obey the letter and not the spirit of the terms of service for sure, but it's still left in Twitch's TOS. So giving them their own category where if they want to do hot tub streams where they write their name and someone's name in a Sharpie on a giant banana float for $50, if people want to pay $50, that's their money. I could talk a lot about why we shouldn't encourage fake social relationships with people, but at the same time, people are always going to find an outlet somewhere. Before Twitch, it was Omegle or any of the other cam sites. Before Twitch even existed, it was just.tv, which turned out as one dude's experiment and then blew up with a bunch of other people. There's always going to be an outlet for that, and trying to shut that down is a fool's game. Twitch might as well capitalize on it because they're going to make money on it. I just want them to categorize it properly so that people who are trying to run actual content-based streams don't basically end up getting screwed over by it.
I agree with a lot. I agree with everything that you just said. The other thing I'd add to it is I think it was almost a loophole in the TOS of what the hot tub streamers of what they were doing and everything. So I think the people who take advantage of that loophole, Amaranth and all of the hot tub streamers, like, do what you want with your body. You're taking advantage of a loophole that's in there. You're a rock star. You make your money, you get your cheddar, all of that, go for it. But I'm happy that Twitch updated the TOS to kind of make a section for that. I also think Twitch they are so terrible when it comes to communication or talking to people, or like just going on Twitter and saying that they had completely cut out her advertising revenue without even, according to her, without any kind of communication or talking and anything of any kind. Like, and that's not the first story we've heard of Twitch just straight up banning someone without communication or cutting revenue or a soft ban. Like, it's kind of worrisome, I'm gonna be honest. Like,
I will say they did actually say that was done in error, and they didn't have done that without contacting her, so they admitted to that at least. But to be honest, more than likely her ad revenue got cut by something automatic. I would be shocked if Twitch doesn't have a system where if their advertising partners register disapproval of X thing, that it doesn't automatically pull the revenue. I can't imagine that they actually have somebody who specifically reviews all of those complaints. I will say Twitch's communication is not super great just as a whole, but that's kind of the nature of when you have a company that grew without any real plan. I mean, Twitch had a reputation for misogyny and hostile workplace environment before Amazon bought them. And Amazon made a lot of culture changes there, but I don't really feel like their growth was really particularly well planned out as far as things like protection of their content creators, for instance, with the DMCA issue. Like, that's been a huge problem. And to be fair, like, honestly, yeah, if you're playing music without a performance license, you're violating DMCA. Like, I know a lot of people are like, well, they should just make it legal. I'm like, that's not, but then you're not protecting the content creators who made the music. Like,
right.
There's a reason DMCA exists. And is it out of date? Yes, but there's a reason it's there.
Yes.
So I don't feel like Twitch has a lot of the systems in place that a more mature company would.
Like YouTube.
Yes, like YouTube. YouTube is a great example. YouTube has excellent channels for communication as well as dispute resolution. You don't feel like your emails are just going to go into a black hole and someone might eventually get around to them on the 5th of never. Like,
do you ever see Twitch dying? Like, do you see in the next 5 years most of streamers migrating to a YouTube or a competitor growing up that has the backing to compete with YouTube and Twitch?
I mean, that's the nature of the market, right? Sooner or later, someone is going to say, I can do it better, and take a swing at it. Sometimes it's a swing and a miss, like Mixer. Mixer had some really good ideas that were going on, and I actually streamed on Mixer for a while because I was curious. And I got to say, zero latency between yourself and your viewers is real nice, and it was damn near zero latency. Like, I could communicate with chat real time. There were no pauses, no delays that I could ever tell. Their service was incredibly stable. It had a lot of things going for it. Unfortunately, like most things Microsoft, they started off with a great concept and completely failed to market it. So that's just kind of the story of Microsoft. Sooner or later, though, yeah, Twitch is going to have a serious competitor. I mean, it's bound to happen.
I feel like it really could be YouTube, because YouTube is like 70% of the way there. I mean, their interface is I hate their interface. I hate watching streams on YouTube compared to Twitch, but like, if they can spruce up their interface, they have a real shot, I think, of overtaking Twitch. And of course, I mean, Google is the giant that it is. And you think with like Amazon backing Twitch, I don't know. I feel like Amazon's in a position where it's either we invest a crap ton of money into Twitch and really see it to profitability, or we just let it die and kind of take our loss. And I feel like they're at that crossroads right now, and they're just like, I don't know which way to go.
I think that if Amazon is smart, what they're going to do is they're going to spend the next year or two playing a waiting game with Twitch. And the reason I say that is the reality is Twitch blew up because of COVID. Before COVID, Twitch had, I think it was something like not even a quarter of the current number of streamers. Wow. And it's even the viewer counts were massively lower. Like, a ton of people started streaming and a ton of people started watching because they were stuck at home. They were bored. They couldn't go anywhere or do anything. So if I were Amazon right now, I would not be dumping a ton of money to Twitch, because with the countries opening back up, with people able to go and do things, with money being invested into things that aren't, hey, I'm bored, so I'm going to get the streamer $5. It's very likely that Twitch is going to see a fairly rapid decline for a little bit. YouTube, on the other hand, because you brought it up, I think YouTube is in a good position to capitalize on it, provided they are willing to put in the infrastructure and the tools to capitalize on real-time viewer interaction. That's the thing about YouTube. Everything they have right now, even their live streaming, really is predicated on the idea that people are going to be watching a recording, not a live stream. If they put the proper tools in place, yes, I do think that YouTube could actually be a substantial competitor for Twitch. The question is how many streamers would make the jump, because it's one thing being on Twitch. Twitch, you've got a lot of competition if you're going to look at it from that standpoint, right? YouTube dwarfs Twitch.
Yeah.
So
like people think Twitch is big. Like Twitch is a pea size compared to YouTube. YouTube is the biggest video platform in the entire world by far.
Yes. So like I said, even the biggest streamers on Twitch realistically are, I'm not going to say that. Some of the streamers on Twitch are pretty comparable, but most of the bigger streamers on Twitch are still very small compared to YouTube subscriber and viewership numbers. So like making that jump, that's a huge risk for a streamer who already has an established presence on Twitch. I mean, it's the Mixer people can speak to that. A lot of them who had to migrate when Mixer shut down, they lost their audiences. They did not follow them to Twitch for the most part. I actually have a number of friends who are in that boat.
I'd say the one kind of like flip to that though is like if they were able to build an audience on Mixer, migrating over to Twitch, even if they lose that audience, the foundation for what built that audience in the first place is still there. So as long as they kind of keep doing what they're doing, it might not be the exact same audience, but an audience will form. I mean, it's not the answer anybody wants to hear, but like if you're dedicated and you were able to grow an audience on X platform, keep doing that on Y platform. That's in the same boat, and you'll see similar growth. You'd hope you'd see similar growth.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I mean, once you have kind of the background to be able to stream successfully in the first place, that will translate to other platforms. It's one of those things of when you've already got an entrenched audience, it's difficult to convince someone to give it up. The Mixer people never would have moved if they didn't have to.
I'm actually witnessing all of this in real time because like I'm a huge Harris Heller fan. I don't know if you know who Harris Heller is. He was a partner streamer on Twitch. He was really big. He has like a huge YouTube channel called Alpha Gaming where he does a lot of like stream review stuff, talks about like stream advice, even like hardware stuff like Go XLR and computer stuff and all that. He's very in the Twitch streaming kind of meta, and he got an email from Twitch randomly about like shutting down his partner status because he was interested in eventually moving over to YouTube, and he kind of just bit the bullet early on it, and he's been streaming on YouTube now I think for like a month, and he's definitely noticed his audience. He was like averaging about 1,000 viewers on Twitch. Now he's averaging like 300 to 400, which is still phenomenal, but still a huge, drop in audience and retention and everything. But it's really cool because he made the comment that really stuck with me of like, if you're streaming on YouTube, when people go to Twitch, they go to Twitch because they want live content, live. Very few people watch VODs. Very few people watch clips. Like it's all about the live content when you're on Twitch. But when you go to YouTube, most people don't go to YouTube with the intention of wanting to see a live stream. They go there because they want to watch videos or watch, high quality content. So if you're streaming on YouTube, you're actually also competing with all of that other high quality content.
Yep, that's what I meant about the competition pool, because we're not just talking about live streaming. It's good example. There's a content creator that I watch on Twitch actually who does programming and robotics because I'm a geek. The point is, like, I like him. He's fun. Twitch, there's not that many people who do that, especially not live. YouTube, on the other hand, I can name like 20 robotics and programming people literally just off the top of my head if I really want to. So like, it is a much larger audience to compete against over there. That being said, if you can make headway in YouTube because of how their algorithms work, you are much more likely to start getting discovered by new people. Twitch runs entirely on average concurrent viewers. And YouTube, on the other hand, does not. YouTube runs on a whole lot of other factors. And that's one thing that I really wish Twitch would do, is work with their algorithms some to make discoverability better.
Yeah, because
but
discoverability on Twitch is pretty much the 5 recommended channels, and that's kind of it.
Yep, that's it.
Which is always like whenever anybody like pops in my stream and they're like, hey, I saw you on the recommended channel, I'm like, holy crap, you came in, oh my goodness, so happy to have you. Like it's almost a miracle like being on that recommended channel versus like on YouTube, you know, you just have endless scrolling. The algorithm is just endlessly feeding you like, oh, you don't like this, what about this, what about this, what about this, and it just never stops. So you'll eventually find something on YouTube that catches your eye. So totally different platforms. I also think the advertising, the way it works on YouTube is just so far superior to the way it works on Twitch. Like Twitch advertising is an absolute joke in my opinion.
Twitch advertising is an afterthought, realistically. I mean, Twitch was built to run primarily on subscriptions and bits. Advertising is a thing they put in because they make money on it. That was about it.
And it's not even just a simple ad. It's just shoving ads relentlessly for, you know, like every 10 minutes, or it's that, like quickly when I started getting on Twitch, like within the first month, I'm like, if I'm really going to do this, I got to figure out, is there some kind of paid option to like not have ads? And I signed up for Twitch Turbo, which has been like a godsend and I love it to pieces, but I just, yeah, it's a struggle. The advertising just kills me on anything, like on YouTube, on Spotify, anything that I can pay a premium for to get away from the ads. I always do it. Are you pretty similar in that, or can you kind of stomach the ads a little bit?
It depends. I don't mind watching them on Twitch because, I mean, I know you've seen your own numbers. Like, we actually get money from the ads. So, you know, if I'm getting money from them, then other people that I'm watching are too. 9 times out of 10, if I watch somebody with any regularity, that I'm subscribed to them. So I don't really worry too much about the ads.
Oh, the ad revenue is, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking about the whole Amaranth situation when they cut our ad revenue, which is terrible. Should have done better with communication, but I imagine in her position, it's like a drop in the bucket for all of us. Like advertising revenue is such a drop in the bucket.
It's very small.
Although it might be a different percentage for partners, I imagine.
It's a slightly higher cut, and also because of how their algorithm works with determining ad monetization, partners tend to get a lot more simply because they have a lot more viewers. So I mean, it's substantial. Like, there's a reason she was upset about it, but like, and it wasn't just the communication; it was the money. But at the same time, like, especially once you get to the level that she's at, like your money is coming from subs.
Yeah,
subs and cheers.
I mean, if you're making 10 grand a month and you lose $200 in ad revenue, like, it's a drop in the bucket, but $200 is still $200.
It's still a few $100,
right? It's so fascinating, the whole Twitch meta. It's like a game within a game almost, you know. That's, as somebody who does want to grow to higher highs and you know, eventually, like, end ambition is wanting to become, you know, one of those very top end streamers. It's so fascinating just kind of looking at, you know, the top 50, top 100, top 1,000 streamers and just kind of see how the whole meta revolves around them. It's so fascinating in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I totally think, though, one of the best things, kind of like we mentioned before about Twitch and live streaming, is just the difference of some people who do want to use it for growth and other people who just want to play video games with their friends, you know, and have raid nights in Final Fantasy 14 or play Fortnite with their friends over there, or, you know, play Mario Kart. Like, it's so diverse and it's so open-ended to whatever you want to use it for. It's literally a platform to do what people want with, right?
Well, that's kind of why I like it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I will happily take any money people want to send away. Like, I'm certainly not going to be like, no, don't. No, I'm not doing that. But like, at the same time, like, yeah, it's people are here for a lot of different reasons. And all of those reasons realistically are valid as long as you're not here to promote a hate group or something.
And I feel like, too, like, one of the cool things about it is just the creativity that people get out of it. I mean, obviously with VTubing, that is like a whole nother mountain of creativity, like I haven't even touched yet. But like, you know, seeing like you and Lolly and especially like Poppy Fubar, like just blows my mind every single time I'm in a stream. But even how people create OBS stuff, how they do their alerts, it's all very particular, you know. It's all very your own, which is so cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, right? Like, it's your channel, you can do whatever you want with it. Some people do more, some people do less. I mean, I've mentioned him before. Lyric, he was one of the top. I think he is. I haven't seen him live in a while. He's one of the top streamers on Twitch. He doesn't do overlays. He doesn't have a webcam. I think his microphone is like a $30 boom mic that he sticks on his headset. Like, he doesn't do any of that. I know other people. Ravenarmed is a really good example. Ravenarmed has so much integrated into his channel, and he does a really good job with it. So it's really just what people want to do. It's how they make the channel their own, and it's how they bring their personality through.
It's all about the personality. Like you can buy. I mean, I've gone in streams with, two people, like 2 viewer streams, 0 viewer streams, and they have, a Shure SM7B and Go XLR and the fanciest, shiniest PC in the world. But it's like, if you don't have that personality, if you don't have that thing that draws people to want to be with you and hang out with you and play games with you and connect and build friendships and relationships, it's fun for you. Like hardware is fun.
Yeah.
But it's yeah.
That's kind of the thing, right? Like, hardware won't make your stream, and it will certainly improve the quality of it, but hardware won't make your stream. I mean, it's talking about audio stuff. Like, I used to joke about the Reddit starter pack, right? Because they've gotten away from it, but for a long time, if you went to Reddit, it somewhere on the front page you would find, what do I need to start streaming? And you would always see the same 6 pieces of hardware recommended. It would always be, here's your webcam, here's your green screen, here's your Go Yeti microphone. Most of the time they were skipping the Go XLR at the time, but here's your Yeti microphone, here's your capture card, here's your Elgato stream. Buy these things, go forth and conquer Twitch. And all of those things are useful. None of them are necessary. They are tools that, as your stream grows, you can learn to integrate and use to make your stream better. But like my microphone is an Antlion Mod Mic wireless. It is not a $400 microphone. As much as I like the Shure SM7B, and I actually had one when I was doing podcasting along with the Go XLR. But I don't use either of those anymore. Not because they're bad. They're fucking awesome. They're just more than I need. Like the Antlion Mod Mic sounds like it does right now through the use of Virtual Studio filters, the VST filters, and OBS, and a little bit of noise reduction thanks to NVIDIA Broadcasting. That's all it is. And honestly, I can't tell a whole lot of difference listening to a recording of myself. And so you're not even getting the full effect of it. You're just getting the raw input without the VST filters. And honestly, it sounds just as good as my Shure did. Like, it's just one of those things. You can get away without it if you are willing to do the software solutions and put the time in to make everything work properly. I will say, using a Go XLR in a Shure takes way less effort.
Plug and
I have
go.
to give him props for that. It is so much easier. I had to screw with so much stuff to get this mic sounding good. But it's again, hardware is great, and hardware will certainly help. But you gotta have the personality, and it's like chasing the top games on Twitch, chasing viewer trends, chasing all of that stuff. It can sometimes bring you some benefit, but realistically, if you're not playing stuff that you enjoy and it comes through that you don't really care about what you're playing, people aren't going to enjoy watching that. 9 times out of 10, people watch the streamer, not the game. We've all played this stuff. It's not, well, most of us have played all this stuff. It's not really new to that many people. There's only so many times that you can see someone play Breath of the Wild before you know exactly where they're going and what they're doing, Yes. So it's all about the streamer. It's all about the personality. It's all about providing, and this is the thing I tell people. It's about providing an entertainment experience for your viewers. Whether it's the game that you're playing and how you're playing it, or whether it's your personality when you're interacting with your audience. That's really what it's all about.
I think that is just perfectly
Sorry,
said.
I have a cat
honestly,
assaulting me.
No, you're good. You're good. I think that was perfectly said. I've mentioned a couple times before, but literally the streamer I think of when it comes to that is, there's no better person I think of than Dahlia the monkey, who is literally one of my favorite streamers, favorite human beings on the planet. She's incredible. She streams straight from her PlayStation 5 and uses like a, I don't know, $20 headset or something. She doesn't have alerts. She doesn't have fancy overlays. It's just straight from the PlayStation 5. And she is one click away from hitting partner status. She has to be right there. Like, she's an incredible streamer, has built an incredible community. She doesn't have crazy fireworks or, big, like, thank you for subscribing, big things and alerts go off. Like, people are just there to hang out with her, to hang out with the friends in her community. And like, that is just, that is, I feel like, what a lot of people should be striving for, you know? As fun as it is for the fancy mic and the glowing PC and the cool lights and all of that, like, if there's anywhere to focus your effort, focus on the personality and who you are and the value you bring to people who pop into your stream.
It's actually funny that you say that. Dahlia just put in her second application for partnership.
She needs to get it. She absolutely deserves it. Like, you know what's interesting, I feel like, with Partner? Because Partner, it always says you need, what is it, 75 average viewers, I believe. I feel like so many people who hit that 75 get rejected. Like, it says 75, but in Twitch's backend, it's got to be like 100 or something, you know? Like,
it's that at all. Twitch partner status is not based purely on numbers at all. Twitch partner status is based on a lot of subjective factors, including who reviewed your application, what kind of content you run, what kind of community that you build. They are actually fairly selective about it. Poppy got partner, which I was very happy to see, and I believe Ravenarm did too.
Dude, Poppy took like 4 times. Poppy's was crazy. Yeah. I was getting frustrated for him. I'm like, he was all like, it's good. We'll get it when we'll get it. I'm like, no, Poppy.
Yeah, it can take some time, but I mean, that's the thing though. It's not like hitting affiliate. Hitting affiliate, you just got to meet the numeric requirements and you're good to go. Partnership is a legal agreement as an entity representing Twitch, so they are considerably more selective about who they bring in.
Almost like an employee, right? Like you're kind of like not really an employee, but like you're an employee without the title, kind of representing Twitch.
It's closer to being a contractor than anything, realistically. Like they actually have their own legal agreement with Twitch typically, and most of them, I believe, are fairly boilerplate unless they're huge, at which point they can renegotiate and get specific terms. But they do. It is closer to being a contractor than an employee. You are a representative of Twitch. There are restrictions on what you can and cannot do, although again, usually they're pretty minor. But it is definitely a different thing than hitting affiliate. Hitting an affiliate basically just means that you're able to be monetized through Twitch's platform. Partner status is a whole different beast, and that's why they're a little more selective about it. I honestly think Dahlia will get it. And probably fairly soon. It is not unheard of for them to partner people that are streaming straight from console. It is rare, which is probably one of the factors, unfortunately, that is working against her right now. And I know she's working on getting a PC at some point, which will, if nothing else, that will probably take care of the problem. But it is rare, and a lot of it is because there are some things that make it more difficult to run higher populated streams, basically, because you don't have a lot of the moderation tools in place. You aren't able to as closely interact with your stream, things like that. But that being said, like I agree with you. She absolutely deserves it. Dahlia is a sweetheart.
She is, absolutely. I never really thought about that from like the moderation standpoint, and because I knew for sure, like when you hit affiliate, it's probably just the algorithm just automatically approves people, like, oh, you got 50 followers, 3 viewers, send the email out. But I've always known partner is like more of a manual review, someone kind of going through the VODs, kind of going through and seeing what they're about. So yeah, I guess I never thought about it from like the moderation standpoint, like and how you just have built your community. And I was wondering at one point, like with Poppy, when he'd gotten rejected again, I was like, I wonder if it's because we all know Poppy's got a little bit of the lewd side to him, shall we say, which I mean, I love. Like that's one of the best things about his streams. But I wonder if maybe people were watching that in the partner room or whatever, and like, I mean, are you sure we want to partner this person? Like, this is pretty graphic stuff.
To be honest, I don't think so. I think what happened with Poppy was a long time ago, he had an emote that ended up getting pulled.
The booty.
I honestly think he had a strike sitting on his account, and his rejections were because someone was just seeing that strike and killing it without realizing. I honestly think that's what it was, because I can tell you, because I was in his streams when he was pushing for partner, his content didn't change. So if that's why, like, I honestly think it was the strike from the emote removal. Dahlia doesn't have anything on her record. I think the only thing holding her back really is just that she's streaming straight from PS4, and I hope that's not the case because they should be more open to that. But that's my guess, because her content is definitely there and the quality is definitely there.
I totally forgot about that. The legendary Poppy Booty. It will be missed. I guess kind of like swerving a little 180 kind of off of this. One thing I know I really did want to talk to you a little bit about, like the Fireside community Discord and everything. So as one of the original founders of Fireside community Discord, can you explain a little bit about what was the plan to form the Discord, how it all started, like kind of the story behind it? Because that's definitely like it's growing. Like the community Discord is really popping off. It's growing pretty big here in the past few months.
Lolly is honestly a better person to ask about that than me, and I know you did talk to her about that when you did your session with her. I was brought in kinda not after the fact, but like she and Chief really kind of already had their game plan in mind. But really the whole goal behind it, I think, was to pull together a group of us that already knew each other. We already hung out in each other's channels. We were already familiar with each other, and all of us had kind of the same vibe as far as community over competition and mutual growth, that kind of thing. My involvement really has been primarily from the technical side. I do chat quite a bit in there, obviously, and I definitely hang out periodically. I run movie nights occasionally, that kind of thing. That was really kind of the goal, was building a community that was based around the idea of mutual growth, because that realistically is what drives our corner of Twitch. And I don't just mean Fireside, I mean all the people that we interact with. We've succeeded to that goal pretty well. There are some things obviously that we can do to improve it, but as it stands right now, we have a pretty close-knit community that works well together and tends to have very similar trends in viewership. Sorry, it's a very complex question to answer.
Oh no, you're totally fine.
I think the biggest thing that has driven that community, to be honest, though, was, and I hate to say it, Chief and Lolly to some extent. They were both huge, well, Lolly still is, huge forces in the community, and they did a lot to bring people together, keep them engaged with each other, and drive growth, both through their work on their own channels as well as their work promoting and supporting everybody else in the community. So, but like I said, I can speak to the technical side. I can tell you all about that. But as far as the full overall vision for Fireside, Lolly really is the one to talk to on that one. She's probably a little bit more eloquent about it than me.
The visionary, maybe, so to say.
More so than me, yeah. My like I said, I stream for very different reasons. So the mutual growth thing I'm definitely into, and I think everybody in the community has seen that. I routinely raid not only people in the community, but I also reach out to other people who are still building their streams, make sure that we target them with raids. I will even target bigger people who our community has not met. Which is actually a lot of what I tend to do, is introduce our streamers to other people I interact with frequently, but they may not, because it gives those people, again, more people to see what they're doing, more people to interact with, more people to meet, and that flows backwards as well. They get introduced to our community, they get introduced to our streamers. So it's very much about, for me, it's very much a networking process. It still revolves around mutual growth. I will say that I'm not the kind of person to raid somebody just because they're big. I'll raid somebody who has a similar and compatible mindset to our community. Because there is some truth, and I've mentioned this before, there is some truth to the statement that Twitch is a competitive environment, regardless of how we may choose to treat it. But it can be competitive in a way that still encourages mutual growth, and that's what I look for, both within our own community as well as with the people that I choose to hang around on Twitch and raid and expose my viewers to.
It's all about just growing the pie bigger, right? Like, we all have our slice of it, and like, let's grow the pie bigger for everybody and just make it all bigger.
Basically, yeah. I mean, the larger the overall viewer base is that our greater community has, the better all of us will do. It's really that simple.
1,000%. I totally agree. You know, and I love, you're so right in the sense that there really are like 50, 60 or so, just like other streamers roundish our size, you know, who it's like Twitch is a really big place, but for people like of like minds like us, you know, who kind of have that similar growth, it's not really a big place, you know. It's like there's like that 50 or 60 out there who are, you know, same kind of mindset as us, and you just kind of like go into their stream and it immediately clicks and you're like, I like you. I see great things in your future.
Well, and that's what I spend a lot of my time doing on Twitch. I mean, I lurk in a lot of channels, obviously, but a lot of the time I am poking around, both through other viewers and other people's channels, as well as just sometimes browsing categories that tend to attract people of that mindset. In other words, not first-person shooters,
not hot tub streams.
Yeah, basically. But it's to try to find people like that, because there are a lot of people out there who are of similar mindset but have not connected with the community, and I enjoy growing this community. I enjoy bringing people, regardless of size, whether they're big or little, into this community and introducing them to us and introducing us to them. And it's like I said, it's nice. There's between you, Shadow Fury, Poppy, Raven Arms, Dahlia, a couple others that are relatively large as far as our community is concerned. We have a pretty big pool of viewers that have gotten to know all of us, big or small, within the community. And it's nice to see people who I know I have introduced to someone else's channel suddenly show up in a completely different person's channel simply because of that network we've built. That tells me that as far as that aspect of Twitch, I am actually doing what I want to do, which is connecting people. So that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, frankly.
Isn't that the best feeling when you like pop into somebody's stream that you really love and you see somebody who you usually interact with in another person's stream, like hanging out there, and they're best friends as well, and you're like, oh my goodness, like Twitch is totally the epitome of, you know, a big world but a small world at the same time. I feel like
it is.
Is there somebody like recently you've met through Twitch that, you know, you think deserves having a spotlight shined on them? Someone new who maybe they don't have like that big viewer base quite yet, but you're just like, I can see like big things are going to happen for them here really soon.
Actually, you've met them both. We were talking to him earlier today, Mr. Dandy and Kikule. They are truly fantastic people who I've only been introduced to probably about a month or two ago. But I've been watching both of their streams grow in terms of their viewer base, as well as grow in terms of the presentation and experience that they provide to their viewers. And that's been really, really interesting to see. Mr. Dandy less so than Kikule. Dandy was pretty established already when I was first introduced to him. Watching Kikule's stream grow and watching her personality come out more has genuinely been fun, I guess is the best way to put it. But yeah, those two for sure. There's quite a few others. Like I said, I bounce around a lot. And it's mostly because I like seeing what people are doing. I like meeting new people. I like talking to them. And again, I like to introduce them to our community, which I obviously I don't go in and self-promote. That certain people shouldn't do it. But like I do like to go in and actually get to know them and talk to them and everything else. It's one of those things of the people say it a lot, the whole there's no such thing as hollow follow. There is absolutely such a thing as a hollow follow, but I don't do that. Typically, if I follow somebody, I actually go look for their stream because I do it because I want to go get to know them. And I've made quite a few people that are actually pretty awesome people on Twitch. Suits Me and Matt the Boss Man. They like I've been hanging out with Suits for a while, but I'd really only talked to Matt the Boss Man a couple times. They actually came through town last Friday, and we got together and had lunch with him. It was really great to actually meet him. Sat down, had a good time. They got to meet Dizzy, my lovely raptor wife, and yeah, had a really good time. So it's nice. Like I said, it's a very different environment than Twitch was 2 years ago. And it's very, very nice to see actual community being built.
like 2 years ago, did it seem more of a hostile kind of competition?
Pre-COVID, Twitch was highly competitive. There was the whole let's build community and make friends and everything else. Like, streamers didn't do that, or if they did, it was rare. It was definitely not a commonplace thing at all. Pre-COVID, Twitch was a very competitive environment. You did not talk about your other streams. Streamers didn't ask you about your stream. They certainly didn't cross communities, and viewership was somewhat jealously guarded typically. It was not a great environment. COVID, for all bad COVID did a lot of good for Twitch.
I think it did a lot of good in just the online space in general. Like, you know, being able to talk with friends and family member through, you know, FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or Discord and, you know, Twitch. And like, I wonder how many people took that as their opportunity to start a YouTube channel they've always wanted to, or just start streaming because they've always wanted to do it, but they never had the time to, you know. And of course, so many bad and so much negative and things that came with it. But I mean, speaking for myself, I wanted to stream on Twitch. Like, I already had the idea in place before COVID and everything happened, and then just kind of everything fell in place to where I was like, I guess we'll stream, and maybe we'll stream longer than I had originally intended, because now we're not working at the moment. So yeah, it's interesting to see a lot of people who I started streaming with when I started, and a lot of them, you know, have stopped streaming, which is totally fine. Life happens, other things happen. It's 100% fine. But like the people who have stuck around, I almost find myself having maybe a stronger connection with them and just hopping in their streams often, and just, I don't know. It's like we're coming around the same time, and, you know, does that make sense at all?
No, it does. And it's like I said, there's a very different mindset, especially because I know roughly when you started streaming. There's a very different mindset amongst people who started streaming post-COVID and pre-COVID. Post-COVID, people tend to be looking more for the social connection and for building community. And like I said, it's a good change overall.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine going in and just like, I don't know. I mean, I still see some negativity on Twitch now and then, of course. I mean, it happens in any platform, but overall, like 99% of people on Twitch are pretty cool people, and, you know, just are there for friendships, are there for entertainment, are there for a good time. And, you know, there's trolls here and, you know, bullies here and stuff like that, but 99% of people are pretty great people, and it's been a great experience.
I would see that statement and raise you Fortnite stream, sir. But in general, I would agree with you. Yes.
You know, there's like a whole section of Twitch I just really haven't even explored yet, like the Minecraft side and pretty much any big game that has probably more than 10,000 viewers concurrently, like the Fortnites and the, you know, League of Legends and stuff. I actually had a coworker who loves playing League of Legends, like it's his favorite game of all time. And I asked him one time, I'm like, have you ever thought about streaming it maybe? And he's like, honestly, the League of Legends community is like the most negative, terrible. It just like totally ruins the game for me so much. And I'm like, really? It's that bad?
It really is. Unfortunately, it kind of comes with the territory when you start getting into the strictly player versus player competitive games. I mean, you're already fostering a mindset where you want to beat the hell out of the other player. So if people can do it verbally, they're gonna. And that's not always the case. Like there are a couple of people that I follow who do stream competitive stuff, whether it's first person shooter or MOBA, and they have some actually pretty chill, relaxed communities. But a lot of them, like I brought up Fortnite as a joke, but like Fortnite streams are notorious for that. Like it's they can get real hostile and real toxic real fast. On the whole, though, I agree with you. Like the majority of people on Twitch, especially nowadays, are pretty chill. Every now and then, like I see trolls come into people's channel or something, but it's pretty rare. And most of the time, I hate to say it, it's some guy being a dick to a girl streamer. That's the thing I most often see, and that is truly unfortunate that that's still a problem we have to deal with, but it is what it is. Thankfully, mods are usually right on top of it and taking care of it.
And I think it's up to just anybody, like even if somebody is, you know, like if we're streaming and somebody's in our chat saying very inappropriate things, like it's also up to, the men who are also streaming to stand up and to say, that's not appropriate to say, and everyone in between. Yep. So, even if we're guys and there's another guy like saying, some suggestive material or saying something to a woman, like, we also have to stand up as well and be better. All of us together have to be better, I feel like.
Well, that's a statement I would agree with just in general. Yeah.
That's
unfortunately,
a light statement.
On Twitch. Yeah, it really is. Unfortunately, on Twitch, the kind of person who's going to come into a channel and do that anyway is really looking for that reaction in the first place, so they can just continue to be a jerk. I just ban them and move on. Hang on one second.
No, you're good. The frozen cat.
Dizzy was what I was messing with, and the answer was my joystick, and then I had to clarify, my actual flight stick, not, my joystick.
Oh my god, my headphones are falling off. Oh god. Oh, what were we talking about? Banning and moving on and stuff. That's actually kind of been my approach to any time a troll pops into chat or anything like that happens, is I always know that they're there. If they say something very aggressive, very, very inappropriate, like obviously a new person just looking for that reaction, just don't give it to them. I don't know, everybody reacts differently to stuff, but like if somebody says something, I just kind of move on in chat, skip over them, grab my mouse and just click that ban button, and they don't get any satisfaction whatsoever.
Yep, I have a 2-strike rule. First time someone says something like that, I'll joke with it, assuming it's not something that's just outright obviously trolling. If they follow it up with something else, that ban button. I mean, I've only once banned somebody who really didn't actually mean what they said, and they messaged me and we fixed it, but like in general, I just don't. Again, I've mentioned it before, I'm 40 years old. I'm too old for that crap.
Yeah, I feel like I'm too old for that crap, and I'm only 27. I think. I don't know, just like, I don't know, I've just always been like that, like just kind of brush it over the shoulder, like giggle about it, and just be like, man, this is you got all the time in the world, and this is what you want to spend it doing, is just being a troll in somebody's stream on Twitch, or I
mean, there's a reason the phrase "don't feed the trolls" exists. It is the words of wisdom you should live by.
Right. And I guess like everybody reacts differently to it, and part of it kind of does pain me a little bit when you see some other streamers who really internalize it and like think about it and just like, oh, this person said all these mean things, it's just, and they're like kind of heartbroken about it. And I guess, I mean, of course everybody takes things differently, but I've just always been that, like, it's just BS, move alongside, don't even think about it, like don't even waste 2 seconds of your brain power thinking about it, because that is exactly what they want. If you do that, they win,
pretty much.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love talking about these just kind of things, just because I love how many people agree on these same points. It gives me hope for humanity a little bit.
I find staying off of Facebook lets me keep my hope for humanity most of the time, to be really honest.
Oh god, every time I get on Twitter now, I mean, even it's always been this way, but like it's that feeling of wanting to be an influencer and wanting to grow to those heights. You have to use social media. It's part of the sphere of it, but it's so painful at the same time, because I'm not a social media person at all, honestly. As weird as some people might be like, what, he's on Twitter all the time and all that, like it's a struggle for me to hit that post button, to just, I don't know, I'm a very introverted person who's very extrovert on Twitch.
No, I get that. I mean, honestly, man, I'm the same way. Lolly is too. Like, I've mentioned it before. There's a reason I lurk more than I chat, right? It's not because I'm not there. It's not because I'm not supporting. It's because I'm actually a relatively shy person when I'm not in front of it. Well, kind of in front of camera. Like, it's just one of those things, I'm very extroverted when I'm doing this kind of stuff. Otherwise, I mostly keep to myself and I'm relatively quiet. One thing that actually helped a lot with that, speaking of Lolly, was Lolly reaching out and wanting to do the co-op streams on Monday, which we haven't been doing for a while because work's been interfering and other stuff happened. But like, that actually helped a lot, because I even when I was co-streaming where we were both streaming, like, it was a very different thing. It wasn't just me and whoever's watching. It was me and 4 other people and me interacting with them. That actually helped a lot in that respect. And that's one thing that I honestly hope that we get more into as a community, is doing that kind of stuff, because it's, for one, it's fun. And for 2, like, it actually does help a lot with that, and it helps to build stronger sense of community and friendship than just hanging out and chatting in text does,
1,000%. And that's been, I haven't really done much of that on Twitch, but I guess my version of that has been doing podcasts like this, like actually having one-on-one conversations. It's so much different than, you simply writing a sentence in chat, and then you have to take that sentence and kind of create paragraphs or whatever your brain does with sentences through chat, and just kind of create conversation out of it. Whereas this is so much more like we're just 2 people having a conversation, and it's so much more natural, and it's different. And I get a little bit of anxiety before podcasts, and like, okay, you gotta press the call button, let's go for it. And I don't really get that with streaming as much, but like it's different, and it's not a bad different. Yeah. It's just an uncomfortable different that eventually you'll grow into, I'm assuming.
So the question I've got for you on that score, because I've got to ask, like, how difficult is it for you to do this with a cat?
Honestly, most of the times with the podcast, like with my MacBook in front of me, I'm kind of like looking towards the camera area, so I'm not like super duper looking. And I mostly just focus on like the voice in my head more so than anything. But it's awesome. I honestly really love it. I loved like conversing with Lolly about it as well. Like it's I can see the persona, like when you smile and like your eyes and everything. Like I still get that kind of like reaction and everything. So I honestly love it. I think I was talking to Lolly about this. I really feel like VTubing and creating these personas, I think that's just going to explode in popularity and growth over the next few years, because there's so much creativity you can do with it, whether you're a cat or an alien or a dinosaur, or you could literally be anything. And it's seeing, honestly, I keep mentioning him, but like seriously, seeing Poppy Fubar and what he's done, it truly is mind-blowing. And I'm like, I really see stuff like this just exploding in popularity. Like if Twitch keeps going in a positive direction, well, if it does go in a positive direction, I see VTubing being a lot more popular. Do you kind of agree with that, or see something similar?
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely an emergent trend right now. The biggest thing that's holding people back is the software, frankly. Lolly and I use FaceRig. FaceRig is a great program. It's also extremely old, and bringing your own custom avatars into it is incredibly difficult, because it was built before there was really any standard. Right. So they created the VRM and the avatar formats for use with VR chat and a few other things, and that made it much easier to bring a model in. Well, FaceRig has no idea what the hell those are. So like, to bring a model into FaceRig, you have to do all sorts of janky crap that you never would have to do in another program at this point. They created Animaze to try to fix that. The problem is Animaze has got its own problems, which is why neither Lolly nor myself uses it. And there's a ton of programs out there that do what's referred to as a live 2D avatar, which is what Poppy uses. There's a ton of programs that work with that. Some of them are better, some of them worse, but it is an inherently limited format because it's not working with a 3D avatar. He is actually working on getting a 3D avatar made, and there are a number of ways to bring a 3D avatar in that do not rely on this kind of software, right? CodeMiko, I think her name is, or CodeMiko.
CodeMiko, yeah. She's great.
CodeMiko does it. She uses an extremely expensive setup using, I believe, an Xsense capture suit and a few other things. And she brings it straight into Unity. And what she's actually capturing and displaying on screen is a green screen version of Unity. That obviously is the very high end of the VTuber the VTuber realm. But honestly, it's really just a matter of time before someone gets a more streamlined and fluid method of getting 3D avatars working, right? Because it is an emergent trend, and it's something that more and more people are wanting to do. There's tons of people who want to do this, and obviously having a face cam of some kind is extremely beneficial. It's not necessary, but it's very beneficial. It gives your viewers something concrete to interact with and to react to. So it's really just a matter of someone else, kind of like with the competitor to Twitch. It's a matter of somebody else deciding that I can do it better and then doing it. But I expect to see that happen in the next year or two. Frankly, I would say that FaceRig, someone's going to put FaceRig out of business, because realistically, FaceRig in the 3D avatar market, FaceRig didn't even write their own shit. FaceRig contracted to use an engine called by a company called Ulsee, ULSEE. SEE, two E's. They provide commercial level tracking, before face recognition for security cameras and like all sorts of stuff. But one of the things they had was a product suite that would do, I think, 60 something point facial mapping real time, which is the technology that FaceRig licensed and brought into their own product. So FaceRig itself really just slaps a UI on top of that to allow you to configure the engine. And Ulsee's technology is fantastic. Sooner or later, someone else is going to do the same thing and then write a better UI that sits on top of it that isn't Anime's, because Anime's is garbage. But yeah, like I said, it's going to happen sooner or later. VTubing is a thing that I don't think is going to go away. It's just going to become more refined as time goes on, and I actually look forward to that.
I wonder if...
I don't know that...
I wonder if Elgato would ever do anything, because kind of what we talked about earlier, like Elgato almost feels like the Apple of streaming hardware world, where just everything syncs together. Everything is like, a lot of stuff just works really great. Not maybe as much tinkering and configuring, I do agree, like as you know, you'd possibly like, but I wonder if they would ever get into that. Like, imagine, I feel like if anybody could do it well, I bet Elgato could do it pretty decent.
Maybe. I mean, Elgato is owned by Corsair, right? Mm-hmm. So like, they definitely have the money and the backing behind it. The question is there enough interest? Elgato primarily markets to the majority, and VTubers I don't think will ever become the majority. That's the thing. Elgato, they're like Apple. Elgato markets the most 90%. Accessible product to the largest market they can. Which as a business is a very smart model. There's a reason why they've become the brand name in capture cards and stream decks. And like I said, there are honestly better versions out there. Leoran Board puts the Elgato Stream Deck to shame. However, it does require much more user experience than the Stream Deck does. So like, it's the Apple comparison. They make very slick, very streamlined products, but they're marketed to the majority of users rather than the minority. And VTubing, as much fun as it is and as much as I personally enjoy it, is a minority market and will probably always remain so. A lot of people don't actually like them. I have gotten feedback from people that they were turned off by it, and you know, that sucks, but at the same time I don't care. So you know, it works for me. So yeah, but the upshot of all that is, yes, I do see it being a trend that continues to grow, and I think it's a technology in a market that will mature. I don't think it's going to stagnate by any means.
Do you see a day in the future possibly where Ziada would do a stream with no face rig and do like an IRL stream?
I have, in fact.
What? You have?
Yeah. Now, granted, my actual face wasn't revealed because I had a mask on. But Dizzy and I have actually done. No, I mean like a breathing of COVID mask. Dizzy and I have done 2 or 3 ballroom dance streams.
Yes.
Where we've actually been in the studio working on our competition routines and stuff like that. So I do have them periodically. They're rare, and I've never shown my full face in one, but you know, that's not honestly out of any desire to remain secret. It's more because at this point it's a meme that I don't show my face. So
I'm the exact same way when it comes to revealing my name. Everybody always asks me what my name is, and I'm like, at this point, nobody's ever gonna know. It is always gonna be Zephyr.
Now Yeah, no, my face isn't any real secret. I mean, anybody who actually really wants to, I think, can go on the Fireside Discord, and there's, I think it's in the selfies, there's a pic of me in costume as a stormtrooper that doesn't actually take my face out of. So, like, I don't keep it a secret. It's just not something I broadcast live.
So I do got to ask actually on that, what started you interested in doing ballroom dancing? Because I used to do ballroom dancing in high school, and it was literally one of the best things I've ever done in my entire life. If anybody's watching or listening, you gotta try ballroom dancing at least once in your life. Like the waltz and the cha-cha and the tango are just so incredibly much fun.
I absolutely adore it. And if anybody is interested, I will tell you, all you got to do is contact whatever local ballroom studio you have, and I guarantee you have one unless you live in BFE. Tell them you want to come in for a guest or intro lesson, and they will be happy to bring you in. They will also make car salesmen look fucking shy with how hard they try to sell you a package, but they will let you come in and do it. So what got us started in it was two things. First, obviously, we got married, and we wanted to have a first dance. And I grew up with my family relatively close. My aunt and uncle went out of their way to make sure that we knew some basics of moving around in society. Part of that was, formal dining and how to actually place setting, what all the utensils were used for, all that stuff. My aunt decided to teach us all the basics of ballroom. So when I was a child, I learned relatively basic waltz, foxtrot, and rumba. They're the three most common social dances. They were things that she made sure we knew. I'd forgotten most of it, but we would go do our wedding dance, and we did that, and we had some lessons left over. So I talked Dizzy into continuing, and then I harassed Dizzy into continuing after that because she didn't want to. And then eventually something clicked and she just got into it. I've always loved it. The whole thing I always joked about with her was she always wants to dance in clubs, and I refuse to do club dancing. Like, if I wanted to just stand there while she ground her ass on me, I'd just go to a strip club. So I was like, look, if you want me to dance with you, we're gonna learn how to dance. So now, on the other hand, we get to go out to clubs and look awesome because other people are doing the club dancing thing, and we're out there busting out cha-cha or salsa or samba or something like that. Yes. So that's really what got us into it. As far as what you said, though, I agree with you. It has been, so we've been dancing for 2.5 years. We've actually done several competitions. We have another one coming up in about a month. It has been absolutely fantastic, and I would encourage anyone to try it. Go into it with an open mind. You will have fun.
I gotta ask, what's your favorite dance out of all of them? Like, what's your go-to? If they're like, you can dance whatever you want, put whatever song on, what's the first one you go for?
If it's smooth, tango. If it's rhythm, rumba.
Ooh, I don't remember.
No, actually, honestly, if it's rhythm, bolero. But bolero requires really slow rhythm, which is not something that you usually hear played in clubs. So typically rumba.
I don't think I ever did rumba. I did do the tango though, and I did a dance choreographed to the tango, and tango's like, everybody in the world needs to experience the tango at least once. It is good. It's really good. Tango is a fun dance. Honestly though, they're all a lot of fun. Like the one major routine we've been working on right now is a classical waltz, not Viennese, set to Zelda's Lullaby. No way.
And it's yeah, we had to slow it down because the timing on it is actually a Viennese waltz timing. It's very fast.
Yeah.
But we actually slowed it down to like 85% to 32%, I think, to get it down to a danceable waltz speed. And it's a lot of fun. It's a good routine. It's a great song to dance to, and obviously we've got a lot of love for it. So we've been working on that one. There's a couple others. There's a, the song Uptown Funk?
Oh, yeah.
Bruno Mars. Yeah. So some people got together and did a Harry Potter version of it, which is absolutely fantastic. Look up Dark Lord Funk on YouTube later. It's great.
Lord Funk.
But and Uptown Funk is a perfect cha-cha. So we're currently working on a competitive cha-cha routine specifically using that version of the song that we're planning on. She's planning on dressing up as Bellatrix, and I'm planning on being
Malfoy?
How can't I remember his name? No. Oh God, no. Why would I be
Voldemort?
Malfoy? Voldemort. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, sorry, I was sitting there thinking Snape, and I'm like, no, why would I be Snape? But yeah, no, we're planning on doing that. We've got a couple other things that we're working on.
That is
but anyway,
cool.
Yeah, Ballroom, you should do the thing.
Ballroom is so much fun. You know, every time I like, not every time, but like most times if I hear a song on the radio or any kind of song that's in 3/4 time and it's like somewhat-ish slow, I always just in my head, I always imagine the waltz. Like I just can't get it out of my head at this point.
Waltz timing is very rare to hear in songs, but it's in a surprising amount of pop music. It's weird because almost everything is 4/4, right? Like almost everything is 4/4. And if it's 4/4, you can do pretty much any dance to it, depending on how fast you can make yourself move. But like waltz timing songs are fantastic. There's a guy, Chase Holfelder. He does minor key conversions of other songs. And a lot of them he's transformed into proper waltz timing. Like he did a really good version of Kiss the Girl from The Little Mermaid. It's awesome, and I really want to do a tango to that one, although that's obviously not waltz timing. But yeah, I really want to do a tango to that one because it's real creepy.
Ooh, that could be. I'm immediately intrigued because like it's cool hearing like really happy sounding songs turned into like really moody sounding songs, and you're like, I can hear it, but it's so different, but I can still hear it.
Yeah, no, he does really awesome covers. I think you'd probably like him a lot.
Do you play any music at all? Like have any like musical abilities?
I am not remotely musically inclined. I played trombone in high school because I had to. I learned to play a little bit of violin. And other than that, like I can play the drums, but that's because if you can keep a beat, you can play the drums realistically to some degree. I'm not good at it, but I can play them. But no, I don't do music. I sing. I'm not singing. Don't ask.
Honest, I love trombone. I think trombone is one of the coolest instruments ever. With all that like odd time meter signature or like the 3/4 timing and everything, that's one of the big reasons. Like recently, one of the very few bands I've kind of been listening to a lot. I've been listening to a lot of Tool, and they do a lot of music in really weird time signatures. And I guess if you don't know much about time signatures, it might not click, but if you know what 3/4 is or 5/4 and immediately I'm like, yo, I'm into this. Like I'm turning the music up, I'm putting my headphones in, I'm so into it.
Tool is a band from my fucking childhood, man. I adore Tool.
Cheers to that.
Maynard was an absolute madman when he wrote music.
I've listened to all of their albums, but oddly enough, like their last one they released, after like 15 years or whatever, it's just been like a repeat album for the last like year. I really like. I know some people who are big Tool fans didn't really like it too much. I thought it was like a masterpiece, and I still listen to it all the time.
You're talking about Fear Inoculum, that one.
Yeah,
Fear Inoculum's good, but honestly, like I will always love both Undertow and Opiate. Those two albums were, again, dating myself, those two albums were on my Walkman.
Hell yeah,
pretty much at any given point.
I mean, I grew up like almost all the music I loved growing up. I started listening to music with my dad specifically, and he loves like 70s and 80s like heavy metal, hard rock and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd be that weird kid in class, like listening to AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and stuff, and everyone else is listening to I don't know what everyone was listening to, Owl City at the time, or
my dad basically raised me on the Doobie Brothers, and somehow I turned out normal. So
good music is good music is good music, regardless of, like I'm a firm believer every genre, every decade has amazing music. And I get in fights with some people who are younger than me and say old music sucks, and then I get fights with people older than me and say new music sucks, and I'm like, there's good music everywhere. Like every single year there's amazing music.
You've been on my stream enough to know my absolute fondness for girl power ballads, so like I can't really say a whole lot as far as musical taste. I listen to pretty much everything other than like the thug rap, pretty much. That's really about it. I even have it's older, but I have a ton of country on my Spotify playlist. But that's I mean, I was raised a proper Southern gentleman, so there is that.
I remember my mom, she loved like country pop specifically, which I am not super duper into. Although like I have a very soft spot for Brad Paisley. I like Brad Paisley a lot. But like country, like old school country, I'm like super into. So, but yeah, I think like every genre, there's kind of like the outer fringes of extremity where I'm just not into. Like I love heavy metal music, but like death metal, I just cannot get into. Like it just doesn't do it for me. But it's like all those. The what?
I gotta ask because you brought up Brad Paisley. Was he the one who did Honky Tonk Badonka Donk? Is that?
It might have been actually.
That was Trace Atkins. That's right.
Oh, Trace Atkins. Who's the other one? There's actually, it might have been Trace Atkins I was thinking of. I'm not super well versed in the country music scene. Actually, my last podcast guest, Pajama Princess Daisy, we talked a little bit about country music as well. So there's good music everywhere. I feel like, and kind of circling back to Twitch on the point of it, like so many people don't see Twitch as, they just see Twitch as like just gaming, but I've always seen it as just like a stage, like a live streaming stage that you can go on. And if you want to play music cool, or play, music, or do like art streams are like my favorite. Like Lolly's and Crises art streams are literally like the best things on Twitch. They're so much fun, but just using the stage to promote your abilities and do what you do, it's so much more than just video games,
Probably about a third of the streams that I sit in are not video game related. He's not. I haven't seen him in a while. Astra Canucks. I think I rated you over to him once. In fact, he does a ton of astronomy based streams.
Yeah.
And a lot of what he does is talking about astronomy and astrophysics. But I mean, it's nerd shit, but I love it. So like, I agree with you. Twitch has become more than just a gaming platform, and I'm very glad to see that happen. It did admittedly start as basically just chatting before games came into it, but like it was known as just like that thing that tournament gamers streamed on for so long, and it's so nice to see it actually being recognized for something more than that in hot tub streams.
Right. And like nothing against, video game streams. I mean, obviously both of us do a lot of video games with streaming, but like, I think when you get those people who follow you and are there in your streams, who you could be just chatting, you could be playing a game, you could be doing an art stream, like they're just there to see Ziada regardless of what you're doing. Yeah. Those are the number ones, those are the people you want to hold close to you.
Yep, agreed completely.
Also kind of on that, outside even of Twitch, is there anything other creative projects you're working on? I know we kind of touched a little bit on like ballroom dancing, but are there any other creative projects in the works you have? Maybe YouTube something, maybe TikTok something, any kind of thing else you're kind of doing creatively?
Nothing online actually. We are in the middle of we're about to get started prepping for Dragon Con, which is costume fabrication and creation. I might actually be doing some streams on that process. I don't have anything huge that I'm working on right now. What I'm mostly doing is finishing stuff that I started working on 2 years ago before COVID. So I have to, you've seen a picture of it before, the NCR Ranger costume that I have from Fallout New Vegas. I'm in the middle of remaking the armored vest for it. And I've got the full thing fabricated. I just need to finish doing the stenciling on it and some of the weathering work. But I might stream that process, because for anybody who's interested in that kind of stuff, it is fun to watch, or fun to do at least. I don't know if it's fun to watch. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm going to be working on that. Dizzy's got a couple of costumes she's working on. And like I said, I might, because I actually have a third camera setup that I don't often turn on. It's this one down here that's currently set up watching the 3D printer. But that's actually the craft room downstairs. So while she's working on stuff, I might actually turn that on and let people watch what she's doing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Those are also, on that note, if you ever want to add more random cameras to your stream for dogs or whatever, hit me up, because I found the perfect solution for it. They're cheap as hell.
Ooh, I actually just today got my PC. So nice. I have a GoPro up there somewhere, so I might might try to think of something with the GoPro. I'm so excited. Like I can't even. I was driving home and I'm like, please, like this is the day. Please, I can't wait to set this thing up.
all three of the other cameras that I use. This one, the cat love seat one, and the one for the 3D printer. Mm-hmm. They are $25 security cameras from Amcrest. Ooh. Yeah, like they're super awesome. They actually throw a decent frame rate. They do full 1080p. They've got night vision if you really want it, and they're super easy to integrate into OBS. So like I said, if you ever decide you want to do something like that, hit me up. I'll be happy to show you.
Do they work wirelessly or are they plugged in?
Wireless. They go over Wi-Fi.
Wow. Okay. I might be intrigued by that. That sounds really interesting. I definitely think that could be something that could be really cool. I guess kind of stemming. Oh, sorry. What were we saying?
As in, yeah, you can do fun stuff with them.
I think Zach is also another inspiration in that regard. He has, I think, like 3 or 4 cameras that you can just. He must be using Leorin board, I'm guessing, because you can just redeem a channel point and then it like swaps to another camera. Which is pretty cool. It's kind of something.
It just lifts the video source out.
Kind of one question I really was interested in asking you is, what would be some of the best advice you could give somebody who is looking to grow their streaming audience and kind of reach some of those newer heights on Twitch? Because I know you said before when you first started out, it wasn't much about like growth or anything, but you have been experiencing some pretty great growth the past, couple months, So I was just kind of wondering if you had any advice for anybody.
Network. But network genuinely. Don't
follow.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, like hollow following doesn't do anything for anybody. But when I say network, what I mean is don't go find other people who have big viewer accounts, pop into their chat and throw a couple lines in there till you get a shout out and then vanish. I know a number of people who do that. I know it because I see them do it in some of the channels that I routinely am active in. Don't do that. People will eventually notice and they will not appreciate it. When I say network, I mean find other streamers you actually like watching. Get to know them, get to know their chat. The growth will happen naturally. Don't try to force it. Don't try to do tricks. Don't try to do any of that crap. Most of us have been around for a pretty long time, and it's gonna be noticeable if that's what you're doing. But that's why I say network. And by networking, what I really mean is go make friends on Twitch. Like growth will come with making friends on Twitch. It's really that simple. You've seen it. There are tools that we can see that you can go into and see where your followers came from, where they discovered you, that kind of thing. And probably, I don't know, 3/4 of my followers come from other channels. The other quarter do actually come from being found through the browse channel page or from someone else actually directly linking me or seeing me go live on Discord or something like that. Most of them do find me from other channel pages, either through a shout out or through a raid. The trick is building the kind of relationships that would actually encourage someone to promote you, not because they're just doing a shout out because they saw you talking, but because they actually think people should follow your channel. Doing that is going to get you a more genuine and a more natural response, and more likely an actual real follower than popping into 30 channels a day, saying hi, getting your shout out and leaving. So when I say network, that's what I mean. Actually build relationships and work to build your community, not just your stream, build your community.
I mean, we've definitely both experienced it where, somebody raids us, we get a couple follows from it, and then just those people never, ever, ever, ever return. So they're just, it's almost like, are they following because they want to look good for the streamer who raided and like, oh, we raided and, the people who came in with the raid actually followed, like, or are they following because they genuinely enjoy your content? Maybe they do hang out on the channel and they're lurking a lot and you don't realize it, but yeah, it's always, if I raid into somebody's channel, and I'm interested in following, it's always good to like follow somebody, kind of like you mentioned earlier, who you genuinely have a connection with, who you're genuinely interested in seeing succeed, and not for any kind of reciprocal, like I'm following you because I want you to notice and maybe follow me back, but like just because you genuinely enjoy their content, you want to see them succeed. and you like what they're doing, you know?
Well, and the other thing I will say kind of goes along on that note of when you get rated and you see a couple people follow you, engage with those people for God's sake. Like
Yes.
I don't know how many people I have seen get a bunch of follows from a raid and barely acknowledge them other than saying, "Hey, thanks for following," and then right back to what they're doing. Engage with those people. Actually welcome them in. Talk a little bit about who you are and what you do. Ask them about themselves. If they hit the follow button, obviously they're not concerned about lurking and not being seen. Like, engage with the people who come into your channel. Anytime you the best advice that I ever got actually is from one of my friends who is a larger partner, and his advice was, if you want to retain viewers, you have to have that point of contact. He said, on the whole, from the analytics that he's seen, people who come to your channel, once they've made their presence known, you have maybe 60 seconds to engage with them. After that, they are probably gone. Don't miss those opportunities to engage with someone and make that point of contact. It doesn't take much, honestly, but it's something you should do. And the other reason I say to do that is because we've talked about the concept of hollow follows, and nobody wants to admit that they're real. Everybody wants to believe that every follower is a special snowflake that's wonderful and unique. A lot of them you will never see again. That's just the reality of it. But you stand more of a chance of having that person be a actual consistent viewer, having them come back, even if it's not every stream, having them come back periodically to your channel to hang out and chat, if you do something to make yourself memorable.
I totally 1,000% agree. And I think a lot of streamers get caught up in the follow numbers, and like, honestly, I think follow numbers are absolutely the only reason I think of like the follow number, your total number of followers matter, is maybe for a milestone stream, like, hey, we hit 2,000 followers, let's do something fun about it. But outside of that, they literally don't mean anything.
They're useful, and the follower count is useful in that someone is more likely to hit follow, particularly in the shout out scenario, if you have a high follower count already. I will say that. That being said, as far as Twitch is concerned, your follower count is completely irrelevant. It doesn't drive any of its algorithms or its analytics. It's not about chasing followers. It's about, and I've said it before, the only metric Twitch cares about is average concurrent viewers. It's what drives everything on Twitch. It drives your discoverability. It actually honestly is what mostly drives your monetization. Like, it's about retaining followers, not just getting followers. It's about retaining them as actual followers of your channel, not just someone who clicked the button. And like I said, those little points of contact will do a lot. If someone remembers that they came into your channel and you said hey and asked them how their day was, or you made a joke, or in some cases laughed at the username. I had someone follow me because his name was Wolf with a plump ass, and I laughed my ass off about that because that was just really funny to me. He still regularly pops into my chat actually, or just whispers me on Twitch to see how I'm doing. Like, any genuine point of contact with someone who comes into your channel is something that you should take the time to do. That alone will probably do more than any other thing you can do, short of the building community thing that I was talking about before. So it's really a combination of those two factors. So that's my very long-winded advice that I would give to people who are actually interested in growth.
I actually really like that a lot. I would add to that just like building genuine, true relationships. People who you're excited for their content, you want to see them succeed, vice versa. They're excited to see you succeed, and just like you see them as a friend. Yeah, just having that relationship, or maybe not even a friend, but you just like want to have a relationship with them. And I think once you kind of form that in your head, is every person who pops in, like, it sounds funny, but the amount of effort it takes to actually get on your keyboard or on your phone and type something in chat, somebody brand new who you haven't followed before, it's not exactly common. It's pretty rare that somebody who isn't following you is going to stumble into somebody's stream and then just all of a sudden like start chatting. Like, that's a pretty rare thing. So if somebody does that, I think it's important for streamers to look at that as like a rare special occurrence and to acknowledge it for what it is and be like, hey, new person I've never talked to before, like, welcome in, how you doing, how's your day going, like, let's get to know each other, like
100%.
So and people will immediately, like, most people don't do that on Twitch. So if you are one of those people that actually is excited about building relationships and making new friends and stuff, the people, they'll recognize that, you know, versus like, hey, in chat, and then somebody's playing, I don't know, whatever game they're playing, and then 5 minutes later they look over and by then the person's already gone.
Yep. And that's one thing actually you can do that'll help a lot. There's I think most of us have stream alerts of some kind or other set up. One thing I actually use a program called Chatty. It connects to essentially the IRC backend that Twitch uses. One of the cool things that you can do is you can set up a sound alert to where if you haven't had a message in chat for 30 seconds and someone types, it makes noise at you. That is so damn helpful, let me tell you, because like there are times where chat is quiet. It's not because you're doing anything wrong. Sometimes just nobody's talking. Yeah. And when that happens, especially if you like really get into your game, it's really nice to have that sound alert to let you know, by the way, you should maybe pay attention to your chat for a second. CHATTY. It's free. There's no cost to use it. You just hook it up and it acts as a backend. It also is a nice way to have chat that doesn't require doing a pop-out window or having OBS visible. So
I'll look into that. Chatty. That no. That's I haven't heard of that program before. I'm intrigued with that one, Chatty.
It's really nice actually.
One kind of stemming off that a little bit. In your entire like Twitch journey so far, has there been something that pops out as a very memorable highlight experience from your Twitch journey that you could think off the top of your head?
Yeah, No Man's Sky dropping like 1,000 people on me in a raid once. So that was relatively recent. There was a No Man's Sky event that happened where they released expeditions for the first time. They had all the Twitch drops enabled and stuff, right? So she and I were both streaming it, and I think I had like 150 something people at the time, and like all of a sudden this just fucking monster raid dropped on my channel out of absolutely nowhere. Like I thought she'd gotten offline a while ago. And then my chat exploded for literally almost 30 minutes straight with channel point redemptions. So that was fun.
Oh my God. That, I'm guessing, biggest raid you've ever had?
Oh yeah, by far. I mean, that's enormous. I actually picked up quite a few regulars from that event as a whole. Not really that raid, because like she had inherited. So like that was such a weird event because like No Man's Sky isn't that big of a community as far as streaming in the first place. So like it basically was just like raid after raid after raid going from streamer to streamer, and like a ton of people just leave it up tabbed. So like every time it raided, it got bigger. Yeah. When I rated out, it was late, and a lot of people had actually gone to bed, and I still had like 700 something people. So yeah, but no, I ended up picking up actually quite a few regulars in my channel from that. So yeah, that was definitely a memorable moment, just because like I thought that Twitch had screwed up when it put in the raid number for a minute.
Like no way, this many.
Yeah, that was insane.
I could only imagine. I don't know what I think the biggest raid I ever had was from, it was actually, I think it was Handelf during her partner celebration stream, which was kind of like extra special. But then yeah, she raided I think with like 130 people or something, and I didn't even know what to do. I mean, it was just like, let's go to just chatting for half an hour and just stop everything and just chat. But at the same time, like that's what makes Twitch, is that interaction piece. And it's always so weird seeing, like, I know why it happens, but it's always so weird seeing those extremely top streamers like the XQCs and Ninjas and all them, and just like they don't interact with chat at all. I mean, how could they when it's right? Like, how can they when it's speeding so fast? But it's almost like two opposite ends of the extreme spectrum, and then in that middle is where, I don't know, the normalcy lies, if you will.
That's the one thing that it's one of the reasons why you mentioned that my channel has been growing lately. It has, and that's been nice to see. Average viewer count's been consistently going up, all that, but like even Dahlia struggles with it sometimes, and her stream isn't even that big yet. Like it gets to a point where you can't build those relationships anymore, because how possibly can you, once you get 3, 4, 500 viewers and a lot of them are active in chat, you can't even read that fast if you're still going to actually do anything on your stream. And that's kind of where your moderators and everything comes in, but at that time you're losing the personal connection, and that's one of the things I actually value. Like, there's all of the regulars in my stream are people I genuinely consider to be actual friends, like not super close to take a bullet for them friends, because I don't know them that well, but like they're people I actually consider to be friends, and I don't really want to lose that. And I know that eventually, if my stream continues to grow, that will happen, and I'm not quite sure how to deal with that.
It's like this weird balance between wanting more growth but not wanting to lose that personal connection. I almost feel like when they do get to that range, what I have noticed, almost as though people will use donations and bits and subs, like as with the TTS, the text to speech thing, almost as like that's the way to communicate with the streamer. Then I mean, that's how like the Shrouds and Ninjas do it now. They're gaming or whatever, someone gives a $25 donation with TTS and like, I love you and blah blah blah, I enjoy watching your stream, and they're just playing their shooter going thanks and move on.
See, that's the thing though, man. Like, I don't want a financial based relationship with people. Like, I appreciate everybody who subs and cheers and all that stuff, but like, I don't
be in there.
I just want people to hang out so I can play games and they can laugh at me when I do stupid shit.
What do you think is like what do you think is like the optimal viewer number? Like 100, 200
viewer number, I don't know. Chatters, honestly, once I see people go past about 30 or 50 active chatters,
that's when it's tough.
Because I mean, a lot of the time chat ends up talking to itself, and that's fine too, but like I actually encourage that. I like seeing people get into discussions with each other on my channel, but as far as actively chatting with me, like 30 or 50 is about as many as you can really handle with any degree. And there's a lot of games, like especially like the Souls likes that you play, like you can't possibly interact with chat and play those games at the same time to any real degree. Like that's why you end up in just chatting for half your stream. Like
the only Dahlia is not to bring her up for the 10 millionth time, but like she is an absolute pro when it comes to that. Like she could just take down a boss no problem and then just go to chat, and she's definitely, I look up to her a lot, and I feel like I look up to a lot of different streamers for like various different reasons, and I think that's really important to have, is to like maybe look at somebody who you really enjoy watching and maybe not take everything from them, but find the aspects that you think are just truly exceptional and pay extra close attention to those,
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong, assuming you're not carbon copying, there's nothing wrong with taking inspiration from people who you like what they're doing on their channel and you like how they're interacting or the kind of stream that they're running. It's one of the reasons why anytime anybody's ever had any questions about how I do stuff on my channel, I'm happy to tell them, reach out and help them do whatever it is, to me, that's a compliment. It means I'm doing something right.
Zeph about to be in a cat in a hot tub stream tomorrow. Watch out.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with hot tub streaming,
It's the new meta. So another question I'd love to ask you, we're going a little over right now, but a couple last minute questions I do want to throw at you. What is one myth about VTubing and or streaming that you would love to debunk?
I don't know if there are any myths about VTubing. At least if there are, I'm not aware of them. Myth about streaming. Honestly, it's one of the things that we've already touched on. The myth that, well, there's two actually, if you do two. So the first myth that I would want to debunk about streaming is the idea that streamers are just out there to take advantage of people who are socially isolated or who are seeking artificial social relationships. There is a very heavy perception that that's what streaming is, and unfortunately, that is driven by a certain type of streamer. That actually is doing exactly that. Unfortunately, it is something that is very public. It is not the norm by any means, but a lot of people think that way. And I've encountered that actually when people have found out that I stream on Twitch until they actually saw my stream and realized what I actually do. But there is a negative perception of streaming and Twitch in particular, that a lot of the people out there are basically just predatory, seeking to get money from people who are lonely. I definitely don't view it that way. Like I said, I appreciate anybody who's subscribed or cheers, but I don't encourage them to at all. If they do, I think that's awesome. I view it as I have entertained them enough that they want to give me $5 of their hard-earned money.
And they get some good emotes, of course.
Sure. They get great emotes, and they get whatever I happen to have implemented lately for my subscription alert. But like,
the real reason,
the real reason is because of that, not because they're paying for friends. And that's the comment that I've most heard, is Twitch is paying for friends, and I disagree with that. It comes back to the engagement thing, right? Like I actually try to engage with and get to know anybody who comes into my channel, whether they sub or not. I don't care. I just like when people hang out and have fun. The other thing, the other myth is the one that we touched on earlier, which is the idea that really all you gotta do is get the right hardware and hit go live and you're gonna be a success. But a lot of people do think that way, especially people who are just getting into streaming. And
I need the microphone.
I don't say this. Yeah, I don't say this to sound negative or to discourage people. I say this because you need to keep perspective when you choose to start streaming. The chances of actually becoming success is so relative, but the chances of becoming, let's say, financially independent via Twitch are low. If you do it, it's going to take a long time. It's not going to be something that happens overnight. Most likely, there are flashes there, and there are strikes of lightning, but
exceptions, not most the rules. Of the time,
yeah, they're very much the exception and not the rule. You have to keep perspective. Otherwise, you're going to end up driving yourself crazy trying to figure out why aren't people following me, or why aren't they watching? And it ends up becoming a source of depression rather than an activity you enjoy. That's the other myth. People need to understand this is a thing you should do because you enjoy it, not a thing because you're trying to get rich. If you do, great. But it's not why you should be doing it, because chances are that's not going to happen. Does that make sense? And I realize who I'm saying this to and the decision you've made recently, and I'm not in any way saying this to discourage you. 100%. I think you're doing a fantastic job. But it's a thing people have to be aware of. You have worked your ass off to build your stream to where it is, and I know that because I've seen you do it. And it is a thing that takes time. It's a thing that takes a lot of effort, and it's a thing that has ups and downs, and people got to realize that. It's not as simple as just hitting go live and bam, you've got an audience and everyone loves you and gives you money.
Well, I will definitely say, at least on my end, like I am not at that point yet. I am not in that financially independent directly from Twitch, but I think all of us have. We all have, like, I've always viewed it as like we all have
you're on your way.
right and I acknowledge that, like I see the trajectory ahead, but I have always thought like we all have like our own hands, like of poker cards or whatever. Like we all have our hands that we're dealt, and there's some things in our life that we are fortunate enough to have that I could take a step back and leave my job and really try to give this 100% effort for a set period of time, not indefinitely. That was a big part of me doing this, was like, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna give it everything I got, there's got to be a time frame of like 12 months or something like that. And then after that, if things haven't hit where they need to be, then that's time where we need to reevaluate. So I think coming at it from that perspective gave me the ability to do it. But yes, anybody that thinks they can just turn the camera on, go live, and viewers will appear out of nowhere, or buy a $400 SM7B and then poof, they're gonna have 1,000 viewers. Their hardware, it just like accentuates who you are as a person, gives you better quality vocalness and like light show of who you are as a person, but it's not you. You're not. The microphone doesn't make people come to the stream. You make people come to the stream, who they want to see you.
Exactly that. And also what you said a minute ago is exactly what I'm talking about having a sense of perspective, right? Like, you are aware that this is a thing that may not pan out.
Right.
You have set a time. Here is your goal. If you feel like you're achieving that goal, then you'll continue with it. And if you're not, then you'll reevaluate and make other choices. I do know people who have gone the opposite route. They've decided to just jump straight off that bridge with no safety line. And one of them made it. The others did not, and I mean that's just the reality of it, man. Like, it's as much as you can work your ass off to build your stream, you can do everything that you need to do to be successful on Twitch, and it can sometimes still not happen because it depends on, in some ways, luck, and it does.
Yes.
You people have to find you at the right time. You've got to be hitting the right notes with your audience. Like, there are so many things that can play into whether or not you succeed on Twitch, and a lot of them are almost entirely out of your control. So, like, that's what I mean when I say you got to have a sense of perspective. That being said, because again, I want to reiterate, I'm not saying this in any way as criticism of you. I actually was really happy to see you make the step that you have, and I think that you're in a good position to do it. You have a great stream. You've done a really great job building it. You obviously are a personality people enjoy. Like, I'm happy to see you going where you're going, man.
I really do. Honestly, like, it hits harder coming from friends like you, like really close friends who have met through Twitch, who, like, I really, 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 really value your opinion and what you have to say, you know, versus somebody who maybe I've only talked to a couple streams, or somebody who just followed and, like, giving their opinion. Like, hearing if they say something mean, it just one ear out the other. But, like, when you say something of any kind of feedback or any kind of opinion, or like Lolly, or, you know, or like King Fink or Zach, like Fortune Cookie, I make sure to perk my ears up and listen a little bit more carefully, because there's usually some good substance in there. So I want you to know I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate the feedback and just you as a friend, Ziada. Really, really.
No, likewise, man. And I appreciate you too.
Kind of to wrap up, I do have a few more questions for you. This one's one of my absolute favorites to ask everyone, because we always get some really cool answers. If you could travel back in time and give your day one streaming self one solid piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
My day one streaming self? Shit. Like, are we talking back into XSplit days, or because it would have been late years?
Whatever, however far back you want.
So if we're talking about when I actually started streaming, that'd be when I first started streaming 14. Don't stream Final Fantasy 14. Lolly does well with it, mainly because she has a lot of people who literally just watch for Lolly. And I mean, I have a fair amount that watch for me too, and I'll still pull in a decent number of people with Final Fantasy 14. But I'm just gonna say it right now: unless you're a dedicated MMO streamer whose audience is MMO viewers, don't stream MMOs. People don't. Your discoverability is non-existent. The people who watch MMOs watch the people that they already watch on MMOs. They are not looking for new people to follow or watch. Even if you get raids, MMOs are incomprehensible to watch for people who don't play MMOs.
Like, what is going on?
Well, because there is so much going on. Like, I mean, you've seen us stream 14. Like, it's a chaotic clusterfuck if you don't play 14. Like, don't stream. Yeah, just don't stream MMOs. Just don't do that thing.
And I even know, like,
honestly, the biggest advice.
I even know, like, all the Final Fantasy stuff. So, like, I've popped in your streams and Lolly streams, and I'm like, oh, it's Shiva. I know Shiva. I literally know nothing else of what is going on. All I see is numbers here and menus here, and I have no idea what is going on. So that's actually good point.
Yeah. And I hate to say that because I adore Final Fantasy 14. Like, I think it's the best MMO that's come out in a really long time. But, like, at the same time, I'm fully aware from an objective standpoint that if someone comes into my stream and I'm streaming 14 and they are not an MMO player and more than likely a 14 player, they're going to be like, what the hell am I watching, and peace out. Like, I know that. That is the advice I would have given myself 100%.
There's only been one streamer I think that I know on Twitch that's really kind of grown an audience exclusively from Final Fantasy 14. Her name's Moody Moomba, and she's incredible streamer. She's wonderful. She's very much in like the Final Fantasy series niche, it would seem. But like she pretty much she is such an incredibly hardworking streamer. She streams like every day it seems, and she's always doing 14, and she's always crushing it. So yeah, big shout out for that. Absolutely. I think finding a genre of game that not only you enjoy, but the audience can have that connection to and kind of understand what's going on. And I think everything you just said is the same for like first person shooters. If somebody has no idea what Valorant is or Call of Duty, they're going to go in and be like, I don't know what's going on. All I see is guns blasting everywhere, and I don't know what's going on. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, especially with first person shooters, is like people who play that game are probably going to watch you, but if they don't play that game, they're just not. Story driven games are a little bit easier to pull in other audiences with. Survival craft games are great for it because honestly, they're usually pretty chill to watch and people just hang out. But yeah, it would definitely be don't stream Final Fantasy 14.
With love. We say that with love.
Yeah, with love. I love the game. Just don't stream it. But yeah, that would probably be it. So, right, so you said you had other questions. Let's do this. What's up?
So technically second to last, but last big question. In your words, what does streaming mean to you, Ziada?
Usually that I don't have a work meeting taking my attention. Honestly, streaming to me is community, and it's something Dizzy took some time to get a handle on too, because she is one of the people who came from the perspective that Twitch was paying for friendships, right? Because that was her only real exposure to it previously, and having met some of the people that actually are part of this community and getting more active in the Discord and getting to know people has kind of opened her awareness a little bit of Twitch actually being community, and Twitch being, hey, get off there, go sorry, Twitch being actual community, and Twitch being somewhere that you can actually establish real relationships with people, rather than paid relationships or very surface level or anything like that. Like Chief in particular really touched her in a lot of ways. He had reached out to her and actually befriended her in a lot of ways that not a lot of people had at the time. So that I think changed her perspective a little bit. Lolly did as well, and I mean, she doesn't know Lolly super well, but the interactions she's had always been really good. Jake, actually, totally not fluff, has messaged her, and we've hung out and we've done some stuff together. Like that kind of thing is what Twitch is to me. The streaming is secondary to me. I enjoy the streaming. I certainly like going live and playing a game and having people hang out and laugh at me when I fall off of cliffs because cats hit me. But like, it's actually having that sense of community and having people that I just hang out with and chat with and have a good time with. That's what streaming is to me. It's not a monetization system. It's not any of that. It's having cool people that I can hang out with, have fun with.
It's all about the community, 1,000%. Friends, 100%. I literally everything you said, I felt like everything you said, I completely agree with. I don't know if I could say anything better. Just it's all about the friendships and the community. So very last question for you, Z. Where can all of our viewers and listeners connect with you online, my friend?
Easiest place is actually the Discord more than my stream, to be honest. The Fireside Discord, which I think you've got the link for somewhere.
Down below.
Yeah, down there. I can't see it, but down there. Otherwise, obviously, www.twitch.tv/Ziada. I am usually online Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Wednesdays and Thursdays are a little bit hit and miss. I'm online US time anywhere from 9 a.m. until about 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and occasionally on evenings.
And I will definitely have the links for Ziada's Twitch and then for the Fireside Community Discord linked down in the description below 1,000%. So y'all can just quickly click it and head right on over there as well. Thank you all so much for watching, for listening to this week's episode of the Zephcast. If you have not done so already, please be sure to smash that beautiful like button for the good old YouTube algorithm. It really does help the channel a lot. And if you want to see more of your favorite content creators, streamers, and podcasters in the near future, consider subscribing. It is absolutely free to do so, and we'll have even more content coming up soon. Thank you all again so much for watching. Zephrys XP, Ziada, and I will catch you all in the next ones, my friends.
You wanna scream your way out with me?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. I'm jamming. We jamming. We jamming. You all need Ziada in your life. I'm just saying. Have an awesome rest of your night, and thank you again so much, Z, for taking the time out of your busy day to come and hang out and chat and get to know a little bit more about you, my friend.
Have a great night, man. Thanks for having me. I'll catch you in the morning.
Catch you next time in the next one, my friends, and have an amazing rest of your night.